Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today, Lucy will introduce to you a series in the genre of cultivating immortals. You cute viewers in front of the screen, if you find it interesting, please give Lucy a like and subscribe so that Lucy has the motivation to create more great videos. The story begins on a night filled with loud cries and chaos in the Li Kingdom, Long Yuan River. The water splashed up with frantic screams. Suddenly, a person moved extremely quickly across the surface of the water, causing loud explosions. This person charged in, delivering a powerful blow that knocked down a group of people. He is by Hai-chan from the Qing sect, with a cultivation level of the physical body realm, 10th stage divine transformation. Hai-chan aggressively shouted, "Do you all from the Fong family want the 9 apertures golden elixir and intersecting yellow springs chart? You don't know your own limits." At this moment, a long-haired man gritted his teeth in anger, glaring at him, thinking to himself, even with all my strength using the Pine Crane 10,000 longevity fist, I still can't match him. The physical body realm at the 10th stage can be this terrifying. He is Fong Shan from the Long Yuan Fong family, with a cultivation level of the physical body realm, 9th stage spiritual connection. Then, he frowned and shouted, "Stop him. Whoever kills by Hai-chan will be generously rewarded by the Fong family." Everyone heard this and rushed towards Hai-chan. He delivered a crescent kick that shattered the head of the man. After that, he grinned widely and burst out laughing, "Ha ha ha, Fong Shan, I have protective armor and the power of 5 horses in this world, no one can stop me. For now, I will take your head, and later I will come to take your life." Suddenly, a large lightning bolt struck down from the night sky along with a strange voice, "By Hai-chan, if you have come, then you should stay put." He gritted his teeth and widened his eyes to look, "Who is it?" A white robe and electric sparks flickered above. The people around him cheered incessantly, "Qing Shui, it's the first miss has returned from Yu Hua Gate." At that moment, a stunningly beautiful girl appeared in the sky, surrounded by dense electric sparks. Calmly, she spoke, "Second uncle, leave this matter to me." Hai-chan quickly lunged forward, throwing weapons, and shouted, "Leave it to you." Such big words. His attack rushed towards her. In the next moment, it was blocked by the lightning surrounding her. Seeing this, he frowned in astonishment, "What? The electric net surrounds the physical body, the theory of metal chemistry. This is a power not of this world. Magical talent secret realm, you have entered the magical talent secret realm." His weapons melted away and gradually disappeared before her eyes. Hai-chan, frightened, stepped back, then turned and fled while glancing back at her, thinking, the Wang family Yu Hua Gate unexpectedly has someone with such terrifying talent. The magical talent secret realm, once entered, the celestial transformation occurs. I have reached the limit of divine transformation for a long time and want to break through to the next level. But above, she whispered, "Purple lightning in thunder blade." Immediately after, she unleashed a bolt of lightning that shot down at incredible speed, piercing straight into him, shaking him violently. Hai-chan, in pain, widened his eyes and screamed loudly before falling motionless into the water. Qing Shui above coldly furrowed her brow and spoke, "Vitality has been extinguished, there is nowhere to escape." The surface of the water began to tremble. The whirlpool surrounded Hai-chan. Qing Shui shouted, "Intersecting yellow springs chart." Then, she snapped her fingers to draw the yellow springs chart from Hai-chan towards herself. The yellow springs chart unexpectedly opened, emitting dazzling rays of light. Qing Shui raised her hand in defense. She squinted her eyes to look. At that moment, a silhouette appeared, a man with white hair and 2 horns on his head. Seeing this, Qing Shui was extremely surprised. So the intersecting yellow springs chart cannot be infected by magical power, it will activate when it receives my magical power to awaken. Is this a protector for the master? Then, the intersecting yellow springs chart plunged into the water. Qing Shui looked at the surface of the water, which was completely still, and murmured, "No wonder it is an ancient treasure, the dragon shakes its tail and in an instant has traveled 1,000 miles. A few minutes earlier, by the riverbank, a young man was panting heavily, drenched in sweat. This young man was Fong Han from the story, a stable boy of the Fong family. Fong Han looked up at the dark sky filled with lightning from Qing Shui, bewildered. What phenomenon is this? But he paused for a moment, his face weary, wiping the sweat from his brow. Forget it, the most important thing now is to find a way to integrate and train my strength, there are still 500 left. After saying that, he took a stance and threw a very quick punch forward, then thought to himself, only by training my strength well can I refine my techniques. Practicing the Pine Crane 10,000 Longevity Fist. Fong Han continuously threw punches and kicks while shouting loudly, only then can I escape the identity of a servant. After a while, he was drenched in sweat and breathing heavily. Suddenly, he glanced to the side and saw something. He was surprised to see Hai Chan, charred and floating on the river. Seeing him motionless, he shouted in fear, "Is he dead?" He swallowed hard, calming himself, "Maybe I misjudged, perhaps he is still alive." He stared intently at Hai Chan lying in front of him. A moment later, he approached and saw that he was surrounded by electric sparks and hesitated. This person looks like he was struck by lightning, completely dead. In an instant, the intersecting yellow springs chart on his body emerged, flashing a light. Fong Han quickly squinted, confused, what is happening? At that moment, a beam of light from the intersecting yellow springs chart pierced into his forehead. Suddenly, electric sparks enveloped his body. Fong Han tightly held his head with both hands. What is this power? I can't let it go. He kept grinding his teeth in pain, my head hurts so much. Something is entering my body, it feels like I'm about to explode. Drops of blood fell to the ground. Suddenly, memories flashed in his mind along with a woman's voice. Fong Han, return, go back to the Fong family. Remember, you must cultivate, you need to become stronger. By any means necessary, do not end up like your mother, do not meet such a fate. He panicked and shouted. Mom! Yet he hazily looked around. Where am I? The past of Fong Han unfolded. His mother was born unable to cultivate and was driven out of the house. When the two of them faced danger due to their inability to cultivate, his mother sacrificed herself. Listening to his mother, he returned home, kneeling to beg the Fong family to let him stay as a slave. Just because he did not appear when the second Miss Fong Qing Wei went hunting, she whipped and mocked him. Fong Han opened his eyes wide, thinking. No, I refuse to accept this, I want to live with dignity, I want to break this fate. Suddenly, the white-haired man from earlier appeared beside him. This man opened his mouth and muttered. This person has a determined mind, can utilize boundless fate. After saying this, he raised his hand to channel energy into Fong Han's mind. Dao Qi transforms into spirit. Choose your master. The great emperor of Yellow Springs has an heir. After a while, Fong Han lay unconscious by the riverbank, then suddenly he opened his eyes wide. He sat up and rubbed his head with his hand. Fong Han looked blankly at his two palms, what exactly happened just now? After I touched a luminous corpse. But then he stomped his foot and stood up abruptly. He executed some light yet doubtful moves, why has all my internal injury disappeared? My whole body feels light, and all pain has vanished. Suddenly, he stepped on something. The box lit up, floated up, landed in his hand, and opened. Inside appeared a gem emitting a strong fragrance. Fong Han inhaled it, and his spirit became relaxed, my whole body feels light, and fatigue has disappeared. Especially, the gem had 9 holes, containing a gentle flow of energy, breathing as if it had life. Earlier, he had heard some disciples of the Fong family mention certain miraculous pills, claiming that swallowing one could save many years of hard work in refining the physical body to replenish one's insufficient primordial energy. He tightly grasped the gem, pondering, this pill might be 100,000 times more miraculous than the Lingji pill or the snow ginseng pill of the Fong family. He closed the box tightly with his hand, but this medicine can't be taken lightly. Then he sat down in front of Hai Chan and spoke to himself, this lord, the body of a person has been retrieved, I need to bury you properly for peace, as for this pill. Before he could finish, suddenly Hai Chan came back to life, sitting up. Fong Han's face turned pale as he screamed, a zombie. Hai Chan sat there, raised his head, and burst out laughing, haha, the magical talent's secret realm really shouldn't be underestimated. Fong Qing Shui, you truly deserve to be the outstanding disciple of Yu Hua Gate, it seems the world has gained another strong one. Saying that, he glanced at Fong Han, little guy, did you save me? Fong Han was sweating profusely as he threw the box back to him, so you are still alive. If that's the case, the treasure is returned to you. But he glanced aside, thinking, someone who can die and then be resurrected must have a magic weapon, able to take their own life at will. I'm afraid they have murderous intent towards me. It can only happen once. Hai Chan took the box in his hand and looked at Fong Han's outfit. I didn't expect you to remain so calm. Judging by your attire, you must be a servant, right? The ordinary servant, after discovering us, would report to the family master. Even if they turn us in, at least they could receive a reward of 1,000 taels. Hearing him say that, the boy anxiously clenched his fists. It's better for our servant to have one less issue than one more. Receiving a reward can easily lead to resentment from others, and that would leave us with no way to survive, right? If I quietly obtain treasures from you, that is the true path to wealth. Hai Chan burst into crazy laughter. Ha ha ha, quietly obtaining wealth is indeed the true path, that's a great saying. I, by Hai Chan, feel the same way. Which family do you serve? Fong Han gently opened his mouth to speak. Fong family, Long Yuan. Hai Chan stared intently at the chaotic footprints around him and thought to himself, the footprints are messy but not lacking structure. A servant secretly practicing the family's body refinement method here is a major taboo for the clans. It shows that this person is not content with their lot. A servant of the Fong family, Fong Qing Shui. Humph. Then, he grinned with delight. You are a servant with no money and no power, wanting to cultivate martial arts to surpass others is impossible. He slowly stood up and continued, cultivating the physical body requires not only a lot of money but also tremendous opportunities. Then, he threw the box to Fong Han, but meeting me is your luck. This 9 apertures golden elixir can help you shed your old skin, completely eliminate the weakness of your body, and establish a solid foundation that no one can compare to. Adding to the supreme divine skill I will teach you, you will definitely become extraordinarily powerful. As for whether you can enter the magical talent's secret realm, that depends on your own opportunities. Upon hearing this, Fong Han gasped in surprise, magical talent's secret realm? Can you help me cultivate to the magical talent's secret realm? Chan frowned suspiciously, you know about the magical talent's secret realm? It seems you have picked up quite a bit. A brief introduction, there are 10 steps to cultivating the physical body. First realm. First nurturing life. Second training power. Third techniques. Fourth rigid flexible. Fifth divine power. Sixth aura. Seventh internal strengthening. Eighth divine bravery. Ninth spiritual connection. 10th divine transformation. But very few cultivators know that divine transformation is not the limit of cultivation. There is still an insurmountable gap afterward, the magical talent's secret realm. The physical body cultivation reaches its peak. The brain can develop to a great extent to maintain and generate magical power. It is based on the magical power cultivated from various types of magical talent. However, regardless of the martial arts practiced, one does not directly cultivate the brain. Therefore, those who can cultivate to the magical talent's secret realm are considered very rare and are definitely talented individuals. Qing Shui is one of them. At this moment, Hai Chan looked at Fong Han with eyes full of hatred. You have sworn me as your master, but once you achieve results in your cultivation, I want you to do 2 things. First, find an opportunity to join the Yu Hua Gate within the Fong family and steal the Yu Hua Ascended Sutra. Second, kill Fong Qing Shui. Fong Han was horrified, his eyes wide open. Fong Qing Shui, Yu Hua Gate, Fong family, the first Miss Fong Qing Shui. Seeing this, Hai Chan immediately displayed an unhappy expression. What are you afraid of? Is your knowledge so limited? A true genius does not stop at the magical talent's secret realm like Fong Qing Shui. Above that, there is the longevity secret realm, the path of immortality, the 10 great sects, the sect leader, the 5 schools of demonic path, the 7 branches of the demon path, the demon gods, and the demonic gods. All of these are extraordinarily powerful beings that you and I cannot even imagine. He looked at Fong Han's hesitant expression and added, all right. We were struck by a purple lightning yin thunder blade from Fong Qing Shui. My vitality was completely severed, and there wasn't much time left. It was the medicinal power of the 9 apertures golden elixir that brought me back to consciousness. You should quickly pay your respects to your master, I don't have much time left. Fong Han knelt on the ground, bowed deeply before Hai Chan, and shouted, "Master above, please accept a bow from your disciple Fong Han." After saying this, he couldn't help but think, I can't believe there is still a world of immortality in the magical talent's secret realm, it's truly unimaginable. The 9 apertures golden elixir has such miraculous effects. Hai Chan's hand trembled, then he grasped Fong Han's robe and stabbed a blade into his heart. "Alright, starting from today, you will be a disciple of my Qing sect." He withdrew his hand from Fong Han's body and added, "The only way to use the 9 apertures golden elixir is to open a space from the heart and allow it to adhere within. Continuously cultivate so that its medicinal power gradually dissolves into your veins, ultimately cleansing your marrow and transforming your body. If it weren't for my entire body being charred black, this golden elixir would indeed be a blessing for this little guy." The golden elixir entered Fong Han's heart, and he grimaced in pain, his whole body trembling. Hai Chan suddenly used teleportation and appeared behind Fong Han, speaking in a low voice. "With this, your physique will be transformed. There's no doubt you'll earn the recognition of First Mississippi. She has already stepped into the magical talent's secret realm, so she will definitely notice that your root bones are unlike anyone else's. Sit still, I will impart to you the 7 stars fist, my martial art." Fong Han closed his eyes, quietly sensing the transmission of the 7 stars fist from Hai Chan. He frowned slightly and thought to himself. This feeling, my mind has never been this clear before, as if my meridians were being unblocked, letting me feel surging power within. If before, the strength in my body was like a trickling stream, now it feels like the mighty Long Yuan river, waves surging violently. Sitting behind him, Hai Chan interrupted Fong Han's thoughts. The fist technique of my Qing sect was created by observing the trajectory of the constellations in the heavens. It connects the physical body with heaven and earth, consolidates the origin, and attains magical talent. And remember this above all, in the future, you must bury my body in the earth after I die, then obtain the Yu Hua Ascended Sutra and offer it to the sect master, so that he may resurrect my master. Suddenly, the intersecting yellow springs chart inside Fong Han's body trembled and unfolded. Seeing this, Hai Chan's expression was utterly shaken. The intersecting yellow springs chart, how can this be possible? Why did the magic weapon Yellow Springs' great emperor leave it behind after ascending and then accept him as its master? Hai Chan taught Fong Han the 7 stars art for a while, then suddenly he raised his hand and fell motionless to the ground. Fong Han noticed the lack of movement and turned around. "Master, is it over?" Hai Chan sat with his head down, not a sound in response. Fong Han extended his trembling hand towards Hai Chan's nose. A moment later, he frowned, his face darkening. "Has the aura already broken?" He stood up, looking at Hai Chan with a grateful gaze, silently thinking, "We met for less than an hour, you taught me supreme martial arts, told me that the outside world is endless, and that there are stronger beings beyond. Master, thank you, I will fulfill your last wish and bury you properly." Time passed. Behind the massive mountain of the Fong family, Fong Han continuously struck the stone while speaking to himself. "After obtaining the 9 apertures golden elixir, there has been a tremendous change in refining my body. My physical quality is now more than double that of the key disciples of the Fong family." He shouted and shattered the stone. "The golden elixir continuously provides blood qi. No matter how much injury I endure during training. Injuries to tendons or bones, or fractures, recover immediately after a good sleep, returning to their original state." He marveled at his current strength. "In just 3 short months, I have reached the peak of the rigid flexible realm and entered the 4th level of the physical body realm, the move realm. A core disciple of the Fong family needs at least 3 to 5 years to achieve the rigid flexible realm. However, before, Master said that the intersecting yellow springs chart recognized me as its master, but I haven't discovered any of its mysteries." At this point, his expression turned serious as he pondered, "Surely Master must have made a mistake, I still can't use a magic weapon like that. I should keep this hidden for now, I can't let the Fong family find out. There's no time to think too much about it, nothing is more important than breaking through the realm." With that, he stomped his foot and executed the foot stepping on 7 stars technique. In the next moment, he swung his hand forward quickly, performing the crane claw seal from a distance. The pine crane 10,000 longevity fist and a 7 stars fist are completely different styles, yet they can be fused into one by the 9 apertures golden elixir, enhancing their power even further. He charged forward, unleashing a punch from the five-fold divine power realm. Immediately, there was a loud explosion. Fong Han moved at incredible speed, and suddenly, the large trees were snapped in half. Now, you are exuding great power, your strength is becoming even stronger, and it is truly not in vain. You endure to train your foundation, the techniques of the Fong family can all be seamlessly integrated. The only thing that worries you is that after using the 9 apertures golden elixir, you are unsure if the Fong family will discover it. Moreover, Fong Qing Shui has entered the magical talent's secret realm, and you fear that even a single finger could kill you. Thinking of this, Fong Han's eyes were filled with determination. But even if I have to risk everything, I must continue, I must become stronger, even stronger. Suddenly, a breeze swept through the treetops, a cascade of black hair and a foot radiating with electricity appeared. A voice echoed, "Pine Crane 10,000 longevity fist, not bad at all." A pure white figure floated in the air. He thought in confusion, is this a fairy under the moonlight? Or is it Long Zi from the Dragon Palace? No, this is the first miss of the Fong family, Fong Qing Shui. She looked down at him and said, "You've been secretly training for quite a while, haven't you?" Fong Han was startled, then knelt on the ground, trembling all over, and shouted loudly, "First miss, spare my life. I accidentally saw it, and I really couldn't help but practice secretly. First miss, please forgive my crimes." He was sweating profusely, thinking to himself, "Fortunately, I have rehearsed this situation many times before." Qing Shui above was extremely cold, "Not bad, you even know to fear punishment. If you had run away upon seeing me just now, the consequences." As soon as she finished speaking, she unleashed a bolt of lightning that swiftly descended, slicing through a tuft of Fong Han's hair. Immediately after, there was a tremendous explosion. Fong Han swallowed hard, looking at the large rock behind him that had been split in two, thinking, so powerful. This is the might of the magical talent's secret realm. And there's purple lightning as well. Last time by the river, the celestial phenomenon I saw was her. However, he was terrified and knelt down, shouting loudly, "For the crimes I have committed, I ask First Miss to punish me." Qing Shui gently landed on the ground, "No need, I just have a small question. According to the principles of talent, a normal person like you cannot cultivate to the physical body realm divine power realm. Did you consume some miraculous elixir?" Fong Han felt guilty, gritting his teeth. Then, he nervously raised his head. 5 years ago, I was by the Long Yuan river bathing my horse when suddenly there was a thunderous roar, and a horned snake emerged from the river, scaring me quite a bit. But then, that large snake was struck dead by a lightning bolt. At this moment, Fong Han smiled awkwardly and scratched his head. The curious servant pulled it up. The meat of the snake had a very fragrant grilled smell. I rarely get to eat such things, and in a moment of craving, I processed some snake meat to take home. After a while, he hurriedly clasped his hands to the ground and continued, "After eating, my body underwent a change. While running errands, I happened to see some martial arts disciples and suddenly had the thought of secretly learning martial arts. I am truly deserving of death." Hearing this, Qing Shui's expression was thoughtful. A large venomous snake. 100 years ago, my ancestors from the Fong family killed a single-horned kuei snake on the Long Yuan River. It seems this is also your opportunity. Suddenly, Qing Shui noticed something and reached out to lift Fong Han. He was shocked and thought, "Not good, she has figured it out, is she probing me?" A moment later, Qing Shui pulled him back. She placed her hand on Fong Han's left chest. Then she withdrew her hand and said, "You have achieved this after secretly studying for 5 years, a fate that many key disciples of the Fong family do not have. Based solely on the inner den of the single-horned kuei snake, reaching the divine power realm is already the limit. If you continue to cultivate, you will still need a vast amount of resources. Come with me to Yu Hua Tian Shan and feed the spirit beasts for me." Saying this, Qing Shui turned and left. Fong Han anxiously hugged his chest and thought, Fong Qing Shui could tell with just one glance that I have reached the divine power realm. Just now, I almost got discovered by her. The 9 apertures golden elixir somehow automatically went deep into my heart, preventing her from sensing it. She also didn't notice the intersecting yellow springs chart. Fong Han breathed a sigh of relief, lying flat on the ground. But luckily, I managed to get through this. She even asked me to go with her to Yu Hua Gate to feed the spirit beasts. I feel she is different from the other members of the Fong family. At this point, he suddenly sat up in shock. What? Yu Hua Gate? Feeding the spirit beasts too? Meanwhile, Qing Shui was somewhere deep in thought. Strange, it seems I forgot something just now. It turned out she forgot to ask Fong Han's name. She was, after all, a first miss of the Fong family. The scene shifts to deep within Qing Shui's dark illusion realm. She closed her eyes and thought to herself, Thunder Fragrance Illusion Realm. Ever since I entered the magical talent secret realm, I haven't stepped into it even once. Qing Shui opened her eyes wide. A man appeared over there. Seeing him, she couldn't help but wonder, why is he in my illusion realm? Then, she frowned and unleashed a bolt of lightning. The man suddenly opened his eyes wide and caught the lightning with his bare hands. He smiled with delight and then deflected Qing Shui's attack. She frowned and raised her hand to cover her face. A gap slowly opened behind this man. But he turned around and glanced at her. The man passed through the gap and gradually disappeared. The scene shifted to a morning in Fong Qing Shui's palace. She was sound asleep on her bed. Qing Shui's eyes slowly opened. She gently sat up and rested her chin on her hand, pondering, just a servant. Interesting. Then, Qing Shui turned and called out, where are you? This time going to Yu Hua Gate, it's not convenient to bring an additional servant to do the work. Inform the institutes, list out the names, and call everyone to the square to wait. At the same time, in another place, Fong Han put on his clothes while continuing to think. It has been 2 days already, and there is still no news calling me to go to Yu Hua Gate. But for someone like Fong Qing Shui, who is a celestial beauty, it's normal to talk to a servant and then forget about it. He crossed his arms and shut his eyes tightly. It can't be that only the 9-thumb magical talent secret realm can leave an impression on her. There will be another opportunity. It will definitely appear again, as long as I am always prepared. Suddenly, the sound of a door opening interrupted his thoughts. A man entered the room. Quick, the second miss is about to leave. You need to take Qianli Shui along with the second miss. First go to the square. Fong Han furrowed his brows in confusion. Second miss? A moment later, in a crowded area filled with chatter, someone said, I heard that this time the first miss wants to choose someone among us to do something very impressive. How did he even get here? Does this guy even deserve to be with us? Fong Han also appeared in the crowd, hearing them talk about him. That Fong Han, does he really think he can be chosen based on his homeless dog appearance? It's too much of a fantasy. No matter who they choose, it won't be him. He should just be content to be a horse slave. His eyes darkened, anger tightening his fists. Look at him, not knowing his own strength. No wonder he's the child of that woman. He deserves it. Hearing this, Fong Han was furious and shouted, but 3 people behind interrupted him. The first miss and second miss have arrived. At this moment, Qing Shui and Qin Wei appeared, standing out in the crowd. People cheered endlessly. Why has the first miss come? The first miss is truly a fairy descending to the mortal realm, unlike anyone else. Suddenly, Qing Shui froze, seeing Fong Han from afar. She glanced back and said, Qin Wei, what is the name of the servant who leads Qianli Shui? Qin Wei replied, Fong Han. He is a servant who takes care of your horses, but he is reliable and never schemes on the horse feed. However, last time he messed up your hunting trip, I punished him with 10 lashes and rewarded him with 5 taels of silver. Then she leaned in closer and whispered, Sister, you probably don't remember, right? He is a branch of the Fong family who cannot cultivate and was expelled from the Fong family. To regain the protection of the Fong family, he dared to voluntarily become a lowly servant. Upon hearing this, Qing Shui fell silent for a moment. A branch of the Fong family that can't cultivate? Then she spoke again, this time going to Yu Hua Immortal Mountain. I want to choose a capable servant to help me raise spirit beasts. If Fong Han has proven to be reliable like this, then it will be him. Qin Wei frowned and shouted, why him? Qing Shui looked displeased and glanced aside, what's wrong? Do you have an opinion? I think Qianli Shui is very close to him. Only someone who can take care of horses well can raise spirit beasts. Suddenly, she pointed at Fong Han and loudly said, among the horse-keeping servants, there is only one person who can accompany us to Yu Hua Immortal Mountain. Fong Han, step forward. Hearing this, he happily smiled, the corners of his mouth lifting slightly. The others around him shouted angrily, "What? No way, only one person. The first miss is choosing him again." Fong Han's face lit up, clapping his hands together, "Yes, first Mississippi." Thinking of the scene of going to Yu Hua Gate, he joyfully shouted, "Yu Hua Gate, here I come." The scene shifted to the towering mountains. This is the Yu Hua Immortal sect, the foundation of the Yu Hua Gate. Fong Han stood below, looking up intently. Celestial path, this is indeed the celestial path. High above, a large flock of cranes soared in the sky. A man with green hair rode on one of the cranes, looking down below and exclaimed, "Fong Qingshue's background is quite impressive, isn't it? Leading so many people from the Fong family, does he really consider the Yu Hua Gate as his own home?" The person in front interrupted, "TSK, do you still remember what senior brother Jean entrusted us with?" The arrogant green-haired man riding the spirit beast descended, "No need to say more, I've been itching to deal with this woman for a long time." Suddenly, a blow struck Qianli Shui, causing it to lose its composure and leap up. Seeing this, Fong Han frowned and turned around. He raised his hand to grip the reins tightly and shouted, "Qianli Shui, calm down." Fong Han below unleashed a spiraling attack upwards. Both the people and spirit beasts were knocked down, falling chaotically to the ground. The green-haired man, now furious, sat up, grabbed the whip, and said, "This mortal dares to touch us, are they tired of living?" After saying this, he swung the whip forcefully down to the ground and lashed out continuously at the people of Qing Shui. At this moment, Qianli Shui was struck across the neck, causing it to cry out in pain. A black bird with sharp claws appeared, attacking Qianli Shui. Fong Han turned around in panic. Fong Li Tuet had multiple cuts on her body and collapsed to the ground. Fong Han gritted his teeth in anger, "How dare you?" The man pointed upwards, sneering, "A mortal like you dares to step into our Yu Hua Immortal Mountain, disrespecting our disciples. Come here." Suddenly, a voice came from inside the carriage, "Are you the disciples welcoming us under Jean's senior brother?" With that, Qing Shui jumped out and stood beside Fong Han, "Is this how Jean's senior brother teaches you to welcome guests?" The group broke into a sweat and clasped their hands respectfully, so it turns out to be Fong's senior sister, the new direct disciple. "Fong's senior sister, we are indeed here to welcome you. However, just now, your servant was wandering around, disrupting the rules of the Immortal Mountain. They are just mortals and lowly beings. Why is Fong Qingshui acting on the Yu Hua Gate?" "That's right, Fong's senior sister. Jean's senior brother specifically instructed us to come and teach these servants the rules of the Immortal sect, so they do not violate any taboos." Qing Shui became furious, raised her hands, and summoned lightning, "Since when do my people need your instruction? Jean's senior brother, are you very dissatisfied with the newly accepted disciple?" The green-haired boy looked fearful and frowned. "Fong's senior sister, he is just a mere mortal, why go to such lengths?" She snapped her fingers, creating a spark of electricity, and spoke. "A mere mortal is still under Fong Qingshui's jurisdiction. If you challenge me, you must pay the price. The acceptance of a disciple is personally decided by the headmaster, who has the power of life and death. You have offended my authority. If I do not teach you a lesson, where will the dignity of a true disciple go? Blame Jean's senior brother for calling you here to establish my authority." With a cold demeanor, she unleashed a swift strike that pierced the green-haired boy, causing him to scream loudly. At that moment, a man rushed in to intercept Qing Shui's strike. This man hurriedly helped the green-haired boy up. "Fong Junior sister, how dare this despicable person offend the Immortal sect? Junior brother was just given a light punishment as a warning, why did you go so far as to kill him?" Qing Shui glanced at the two of them. "Rest assured, he won't die. I only gave him a light punishment as a warning. If I wanted to kill someone, with your Jade Flame 7 cultivation, could you withstand it?" With a cultivator reaching the true stage, one can only step into the second level of magical talent in the realm of cultivation. Hearing this, he was furious and raised his hand to strike forward. Qing Shui effortlessly slashed twice, deflecting his attack. Yet, she maintained an attitude of indifference towards him. "If you have any dissatisfaction with me, come to the Tianxing platform of Yuhua Palace, I will always be ready to wait for you. Upon hearing this, he bit his lip in frustration, thinking, on the Tianxing platform, only one person can survive and descend, regardless of which direct disciple it is. Fong Qing Shui. He clenched his trembling fist in anger, then turned to leave, embracing his companions. I will report this to the elder, the sect master has already made a decision. His group also began to leave. Fong Han looked at Qing Shui with admiration, thinking to himself, so strong. By Hai Chan master, this Fong first miss is not so easy to kill. I owe her another favor now. Noticing Fong Han staring at her, she turned to him, what are you standing there for? There are miraculous herbs on Purple Lightning Peak, this horse can still be saved. Saying this, she turned to leave but suddenly halted, then softly added, remember, the great Tao is heartless, if you want to avoid humiliation like today, you must cultivate even harder. Fong Han listened to those words, astonished as he looked back, thinking to himself, is she trying to comfort me? Qing Shui stopped, looked at everyone, and spoke up, all right, let's head to Purple Lightning Peak. Fong Han, you will come with me, I have something to assign to you. Scene shifts to Purple Lightning Peak, Purple Lightning Palace. At this moment, the voice of Qing Shui echoed inside the Purple Lightning Palace, although Purple Lightning Peak is my territory, I must focus on my cultivation. Soon I will enter seclusion, and I won't have time to manage things. Fong Han, here is the Spirit Beasts token, you will lead 250 people responsible for raising the Spirit Beasts. After saying this, she sat down, threw the token down to Fong Han, and added, just drop some blood on it, and those Spirit Beasts will obey you. Go choose your people. Fong Han grabbed it and accepted the order. Qing Shui glanced at the three people behind Fong Han. Fong Xiang will be in charge of food, cleaning, and selecting 300 servants. Fong Lai will be in charge of 80 acres of medicinal fields, planting and harvesting rare flowers, leading 200 people. Fong Rui will be in charge of assets and clothing, leading 200 people. The three of them shouted in unison to accept the orders. The long-haired man stared intently at Fong Han. His gaze darkened, and then it became even colder. Qing Shui stood up, swiped her hand across, releasing a bolt of electricity. All right, you all go do your work. Immediately, the four of them were enveloped by her strike and instantly disappeared. In an instant, the four were transported to another location. Fong Han looked at the scene before him, astonished, thinking to himself, did we all just get directly transported by her to the square? Fong Qing Shui directly promoted me to Grand Supervisor, is this a test for me? Suddenly, a hand landed on his shoulder, interrupting his thoughts. The long-haired guy from before stood behind him, grinning with a strange smile, little guy, hand over the myriad beasts token. Fong Han frowned, quickly tucking the token into his clothes. He irritably swatted his hand away, Fong Lai, what are you doing? The myriad beasts token was assigned by the first miss, I won't give it to you. Hearing this, he became furious, cracking his knuckles, what's wrong? You refuse to hand it over. Do you think a lowly horse-tending slave can command those below him? Here, everyone has a higher status than you. With that, he turned to the group behind him, this little guy is telling you to work under him, do you all agree? The crowd burst into mocking laughter at him. Funny, you still haven't grown enough hair and you want to boss me around? Go home and drink 2 more years of milk. That's right, you haven't even weaned off milk yet, and you want to direct us? Let's teach this little Grand Supervisor a lesson. Seeing him tremble with anger, they laughed even harder. Wait a minute, isn't this little guy a parentless hybrid? Where would he get milk from? Fong Lai sneered contemptuously. Exactly, I almost forgot about that, ha ha ha. Oh, now you're so scared you don't even know how to move. Want to wet your pants? But you, a lowly servant, dare to argue with this Grand Supervisor? Today, this Grand Supervisor will break your bones to teach you a lesson. You still don't know, do you? This Grand Supervisor has long been known as the bone-rending hand. After finishing his words, he suddenly rushed forward, unleashing the bone-rending 13 hands. But he continued, First Miss doesn't know how to manage the household, so the loyal servant naturally wants to use bone-rending hand to manage Purple Lightning Peak well in her stead. In an instant, Fong Han vanished, shocking him. He used the foot stepping on 7 stars technique, jumping behind him. Then, Fong Han kicked forcefully. The foot flashed with electric sparks rushing in, executing the Kuei star-piercing struggle, kicking Fong Lai in the back, causing him to scream in pain. Not stopping there, he aggressively unleashed a series of punches to his face. Fong Lai took the full brunt of the blows, suffering immensely and coughing up blood. Fong Han glared, his face darkened, stepping forward with an overwhelming sense of evil energy towards him, causing Fong Lai to panic and crawl backward. Fong Lai's hand trembled uncontrollably, his eyes filled with resentment as he glared at Fong Han in anger. "You are a hybrid." Fong Han frowned, filled with rage, stepped in front of him. "A hybrid, huh? If I am a hybrid, then what are you? Just a fourth-level rigid flexible realm daring to be arrogant in front of me?" He reached out, gripping his shirt tightly and throwing him to the ground, tightening his wrist while stepping on the back of his head, making him scream in agony. Fong Han's eyes were filled with hatred and strange thoughts. Yes, just like this. Strike down fiercely, shatter his bones, then kill him, establishing authority before those foolish servants. They dared to bully you, use you, forcing you to pay the price. In his fury, he forcefully broke Fong Lai's arm, making him scream in pain, continuously howling loudly. His vision darkened, and the words, "Kill him," kept echoing in his mind. But he reached back and shouted, "If you don't listen to me, this is the consequence." Suddenly, a voice interrupted, saying, "All right, Fong Han." He froze, turned around, and stared in the direction of the voice. Fong Xiang appeared with a frown and continued, "Fong Lai stole your myriad beasts token, and he is at fault. You have already fought him, so now you can start working. Don't forget this is Purple Lightning Peak." At this moment, he opened his eyes wide in realization. Immediately, he froze, thinking to himself, "What am I doing? Did I almost kill Fong Lai?" Suddenly, a strange voice whispered in his mind, "Little guy, that woman is a spy from the Fong family, get rid of her quickly." He reached out, but something slipped away, quickly brushing past him, causing him to break out in a cold sweat. "Who are you?" A black spiritual energy in the air spoke, "Shut up. If you don't want the intersecting Yellow Springs chart and 9 apertures golden elixir to be discovered, quickly deal with your true self." Hearing this, Fong Han was stunned. "Were you controlling me just now? Could it be that you?" Suddenly, the crowd around him knelt down, shouting and cutting off his words. "Han Master, spare us. From now on, no matter what Han Master says, we will jump into boiling oil without hesitation." Fong Han, although extremely astonished, crossed his arms and tried to appear calm. He said, "Since you are all working for First Miss, I won't break your arms and legs today." Fong Xiang over there also chimed in, "If that's the case, then let's disperse." Fong Han stared at her, "I have the same intention. Miss Xiang, let's manage things well on Purple Lightning Peak so that First Miss can cultivate in peace." After saying this, he watched Fong Xiang leave, pondering, Miss Fong Xiang has never interacted with anyone. This time she suddenly intervened. It seems like she was trying to stop me, but in reality, she was helping me out. She seems to be valued highly by Fong Qing. Could she be one of Fong Qing's trusted aides? A moment later, at Purple Lightning Peak, Fong Han stood below looking up at the spirit beasts. He turned to focus on the token and thought, "First, I need to get blood on the myriad beasts token." Suddenly, a dark, angry object came crashing down from behind. "You don't know anything and you've already spilled blood." At this moment, a spiritual energy appeared. It continued, "Your little guy's name indeed has some determination." Fong Han smirked and glanced at him. "Are you the voice that controlled me just now?" Hearing this, he proudly looked up to the sky and laughed heartily. "Ha ha, that's right. I am the legendary figure from the end of the Xian Huang Great World, the Yellow Springs Great Emperor." Fong Han gaped in astonishment, shouting, "What? You are the Yellow Springs Great Emperor?" He smiled with squinted eyes, raised a finger and casually said, "Spiritual energy," causing Fong Han to lose all enthusiasm. Suddenly, the boy jolted in suspicion, the spiritual energy that the Yellow Springs Great Emperor refined. "So, you are the spiritual energy of the intersecting Yellow Springs chart?" Seeing the blank expression on the boy's face, he waved his hand dismissively, full of pride, "That's right, little guy, my name is Yen." Then, he leaned close to Fong Han and pointed up, "Do you know what this is called?" This is blood extraction refining, allowing those in the physical body realm to wield various magic weapons, even using the weak to defeat the strong, transcending boundaries to kill. You have a lot of hatred in your heart, right? You haven't forgotten Bai Hai Chan's mission, have you? Kill them all. Suddenly, Fong Han widened his eyes, sighed, and raised his hand to disperse the spiritual energy. Don't use this trick, whether to kill or not is something only I, Fong Han, can decide. In an instant, he was stunned by the loud, arrogant voice of someone. Hurry up and open the net over there, this young lady still needs to stretch her muscles. What are you staring at? This fairy is here. After saying that, the spirit beast beside her kept flapping its wings vigorously. The spiritual energy user frowned in anger and launched a powerful strike at the spirit beast. You audacious beast, daring to disrespect me. Fong Han panicked, hurriedly chasing after him to stop him. Meanwhile, the spirit beasts jumped back in fear, screaming in terror. Help! Who are you? So scary. At that moment, his attack rushed towards the shield of the spirit beasts and suddenly dissipated. Then, the two stood there, stunned and speechless. The spirit beast continuously created shields around it and laughed mockingly. Haha, it turns out you have no magical power. Sisters, come here and see, he has no magical power, don't be afraid of him. He was humiliated by the spirit beasts, his face darkened with resentment. Immediately after, he suddenly charged forward, swinging crescent-shaped slashes at them. I'm done for with my true self. Seeing this, Fong Han frowned in surprise and reached out to try to stop it. But before he could intervene, the strike hit the shield, causing a massive explosion. The shield of the spirit beasts gradually began to disintegrate. Amidst the smoke, a figure was coughing incessantly. Next, the spirit beast transformed into a girl with no clothes, collapsing onto Fong Han, startling him and leaving him in a daze. She leaned in closer to him, sniffing continuously, your scent seems very enchanting. Then, she gazed at him with a dazed expression and continued, is it your blood that has turned me into this? Fong Han's face turned bright red, embarrassed, he shouted, Yan, what the hell are you doing? He quickly cleared his throat, avoiding eye contact with him, my true self is unstable, and my magical power is limited. I need to refine the power of divine yang and sleep deeply to strengthen my spirit. Little guy, if you encounter danger, the intersecting yellow springs chart will assist you. After finishing his words, he gradually disappeared from Fong Han's sight. Hearing this, Fong Han was startled and looked behind him, as the spiritual energy of Yen was slowly fading away, has he really vanished? The girl on top of him also opened her mouth to speak. Hey, look at you, it's really strange how you are. The blood drawn from the myriad beasts token can only make the sound of you come from the token, so that others can hear and understand. Yet your blood can actually turn you into a human. After hearing her say that, Fong Han was stunned and confused. However, he turned his face to the side awkwardly, are you saying that I can make you turn into a person? Then can you take me up to the sky? She heard this and became annoyed, standing up with her arms crossed, looking at him, serve me well, and I can consider helping you accomplish your goals. Do you think that just because you have the myriad beasts token, you can command me at will? Saying this, she pouted and turned her face away, the myriad beasts token is just a divine weapon for communication. Then, she frowned, angrily approached, and shouted in Fong Han's face, I warn you, we are equals, don't think of things you shouldn't. Hearing this, he became serious and turned to the side, thinking to himself, indeed, controlling over 30 immortal cranes is not easy at all. After thinking for a while, he slowly stepped back and stood up. Fong Han clasped his hands in front of his chest respectfully. We must take great care of Crane Fairy. If there is anything she is not satisfied with, she should speak up, and I will definitely use all my strength to address it. Hearing this, she stared at him, snorted loudly, young master, you know your place, but you are with the one who offended me earlier, and I am very unhappy about that. However, she turned around, blushing, and shyly added, but, if you know how to roast rabbit and chicken. Fong Han was delighted to hear this, quickly putting his arm around Immortal Crane's shoulder, please trust in my cooking skills, Crane Fairy. Immediately after, he happily led Immortal Crane away, let's go catch some wild game now. On the high mountains at Yu Hua Gate, immortal cranes were densely flying in the sky. At this moment, Fong Han was starting a fire while Immortal Crane had just caught a few wild animals. He took a knife and neatly chopped the meat, then brought it to roast. The aroma wafted up, making Immortal Crane sitting next to him drool. Confidently, he held out a few skewers of fragrant meat in front of her. "All right, here's some rabbit and chicken skewers, you should try it." Immortal Crane took it, nibbled on a few pieces of meat, and chewed carefully. Instantly, her eyes widened with delight, and she began to tear up with joy. The fragrant taste is truly unimaginable. The seasoning does not overshadow the fresh flavor of the food itself. The meat is rich, with every drop of its sweetness preserved, then melting in the mouth. However, she lightly spread her wings and turned to give a thumbs up. "Come here. I will take you flying now, but you need to hold on to my feathers tightly. If you fall, I won't be responsible." Fong Han's face lit up with joy as his eyes widened. "Really?" A moment later, high in the sky above Yu Hua Gate, an immortal crane flew swiftly from afar. Fong Han, riding on the back of the immortal crane, kept wondering, "Where are we flying to?" "We've already left Yu Hua Gate." She replied, "What are you afraid of? I can fly 1,000 miles in 1 hour. Returning is not difficult, just a few flaps of wings and we'll be there." Suddenly, mysterious black whirlwinds appeared from the distance. The two were extremely surprised to see them. They continued to swirl around them, causing the immortal crane to panic and shout, "This is bad, it's the 7 kills heavenly wolf smoke of the demon god sect, we need to run." After that, she was frightened and quickly flapped her wings to soar high above. What's going on? Within a radius of tens of thousands of miles from Yu Hua Immortal Mountain, no one from the two demon factions should appear. If we are discovered, we are definitely dead. Fong Han, hearing this, broke out in a cold sweat, confused. What is 7 kills heavenly wolf smoke? At that moment, a ferocious 7 kills heavenly wolf smoke suddenly spotted the two of them and aggressively chased after them to attack. Immortal Crane soared, skillfully dodging the attacks from the 7 kills heavenly wolf smoke, then panically shouted, "There's no time to explain, just run first and we'll talk later." Seeing the speed of that 7 kills heavenly wolf smoke increasing, Fong Han gritted his teeth in shock, sweating profusely. At the same time, in another location, a mysterious shadow appeared on the cliff. The gourd in this person's hand continuously emitted dense heavenly wolf energy surrounding him. This man was little heavenly wolf star, Wang Mo Lin. Behind him, someone landed and spoke, "Mo Lin brother, what are you doing sneaking around?" Hearing this, he turned to look at the man stepping closer to him, smiling as he said, "Thank you, Mo Lin brother, for agreeing to lend us a hand." Meanwhile, Immortal Crane and Fong Han were struggling under the fierce attacks of the 7 kills heavenly wolf smoke. Suddenly, he opened his eyes wide in astonishment. At this moment, his heart was pounding, radiating spiritual energy that dissipated the heavenly wolf around him. He clutched his chest, thinking, the 9 apertures golden elixir is circulating vigorously. Suddenly, the intersecting yellow springs chart appeared within him. The 7 kills heavenly wolf smoke was continuously sucked into the intersecting yellow springs chart and then vanished. The immortal crane, feeling safe, kept staring in confusion and shouted, "What is going on? Just a moment ago, we were clearly about to die, and now the 7 kills heavenly wolf smoke has suddenly disappeared." Fong Han felt uneasy and poked his face with his hand. "Maybe it's just our luck. That person must have retracted the smoke, probably afraid someone on Yu Hua Immortal Mountain would notice." A moment later, feeling anxious, he leaned back against the immortal crane and instructed, "We should not linger here, there might still be danger. Let's return and rest for the day. You tell the other immortal cranes not to leave Yu Hua Mountain casually." The immortal crane happily replied, "Okay, I'm tired too." Fong Han felt relieved and thought, fortunately, the wisdom of the fairy seed is like that of an 8-year-old child, easily deceived. Elsewhere, Wang Mo Lin frowned as he looked at the gourd in his hand, deep in thought. Why has the heavenly wolf weakened as if it has been partially absorbed? The man then interjected, 7 killings gourd. He approached Wang Mo Lin and continued, "It's a treasure, with it, you can withstand Fong Qing Shui's purple lightning yin thunder blade." Wang Mo Lin, suspicious, glanced at him, "Are you sure that the intersecting yellow springs chart and 9 apertures golden elixir are in Fong Qing Shui's hands? If not, I won't agree to take such risks to deal with her." Seeing him silent, Wang Mo Lin turned to continue, dealing with the direct disciple of the Yu Hua Gate could easily lead to another great war among the three paths, immortal, demon, and monster. He raised an eyebrow, arrogantly glancing over, "Are you afraid?" "That makes sense, Mo Lin brother hasn't even stepped into the magical talent's secret realm, so of course, you have your reservations. Otherwise, you wouldn't borrow the 7 killings gourd and rely on the heavenly wolf ball in the gourd to keep yourself safe from harm." Hearing this, Wang Mo Lin frowned in annoyance and looked at him. "Jin Shirtai, you invited me here and still dare to speak such sarcastic words. Even if it's the magical talent's secret realm. As long as I am not in the celestial realm, I can match you using the 7 killings gourd. If your father were not the elder of the alchemy room at Yu Hua Gate, he wouldn't easily get you a Yin Yang 10,000 longevity pill. Do you think you could cultivate to the magical talent's secret realm?" He was enraged by such contemptuous words. "Information is also very sensitive. Don't you want to break through to the magical talent's secret realm? After we deal with Fang Qing Shui, the 9 apertures golden elixir will belong to you. How about we comprehend the intersecting yellow springs chart together?" Mo Lin raised his hand, closed the 7 killings gourd, and asked him, "Do you want to kill Fang Qing Shui? If a direct disciple dies, you won't escape the consequences either." Jin Shirtai spoke cunningly, "I don't want to kill her, I just want to seize her body." But he put on a scheming expression and added, "To conquer her so that she willingly offers her treasures." On that clear moonlit night, the figure of Fong Han appeared on Purple Lightning Peak, sitting in meditation. After reaching the divine power realm, one enters the first layer separating water spirit. Many experts stop at this point. Only those who break through divine power can grasp the profound meaning that cannot be expressed in words. He has just qualified to pursue the magical talent's secret realm. But today, after riding the crane, he felt a strong urge to break through once again. Then, he used the Taoist artifact, inhaling deeply through his nose and exhaling through his mouth. The Taoist artifact is the Bai Hai Chan, which teaches how to cultivate aura, derived from the De Luong overturning cart. It purges the stale energy and replaces it with fresh energy. Cultivating with the De Luong overturning cart is like refining gold. Fong Han slowly opened his eyes and then stood up. At this moment, he had broken through to the 6th layer of the physical body realm in the aura realm. The impurities in his flesh and blood had been thoroughly refined, his internal organs were solid, his 5 senses were sharpened, and his reactions were quick, his whole body was extremely sensitive. Suddenly, he was startled and turned around, shouting, "Who is there?" He was surprised to see Qing Shui appear from behind. She spoke. "Breaking through to the 6th week of the aura realm is extremely rare among the disciples of the Fong family." She stepped forward and continued, "But your potential does not stop here, it's a pity to waste it on nurturing spirit beasts. You are a member of the Fong family, and with strength, you should have a corresponding status. There is still a spot for an outside sect disciple from the Yu Hua Gate Fong family, and you should take that position." Qing Shui's words left Fong Han speechless in astonishment. "You're giving me a spot as an outside sect disciple?" Qing Shui coldly placed her hands on her hips. "You don't need to be so surprised. In this world, we don't look at status, only at strength. Only strength is eternal." After saying this, she raised her hand, shooting out a card inscribed with the words, "Fong Han, selected outside sect disciple." He blankly reached out to grab the card. Qing Shui's voice rang out from a distance, "But you still have to continue with an assessment." The next morning, an immortal crane appeared in the sky, waiting for Fong Han. "Where do you think you're going? You received a spot as an outside sect disciple and can still sleep in. If it weren't for me, let's see how you'd manage." He sat on the back of the immortal crane, wearing a guilty expression. I'm sorry, I continued cultivating yesterday and didn't realize I had fallen asleep. Thanks to the fairy, let's have some roasted meat for 2 meals, okay?" The immortal crane, hearing about food, reluctantly forgave him. "Alright, that's acceptable." After a while, the immortal crane flew to a large building. Fong Han looked down from its back, constantly wondering. Is that the Stepping on Immortals Institute? The immortal crane warned him anxiously, "That's right, you absolutely must be careful of the divine power of the assessment puppet." Hearing that, he frowned in confusion. What is the divine power of the puppet? Suddenly, immortal crane dove down at high speed and landed heavily on the ground, causing a cloud of dust to rise. Fong Han set his feet on the ground and quickly spoke up, I am Fong Han, sorry, I'm sure. He hesitated, looking at everyone gathering around him, surrounded by disapproving gazes. He stared at them and continued, I'm not late, am I? At this moment, stepping on Immortals Institute was filled with laughter and chatter. A girl in the crowd spoke up, all right, the last person has finally arrived, shouldn't the competition begin? This woman was Princess Hong Yi. At that moment, there was a sigh, to be honest, I'm a bit reluctant to compete now. Then a man with a fan interrupted, outside sect disciples cannot bring servants, do laundry, or cook. Who is going to serve? Hong Yi shot him an annoyed glance, food is arranged by the sect, laundry is done with divine weapons and talismans. Lu Kang, instead of complaining about those things, why don't you focus on the competition and become an outside sect disciple first? The divine power puppet in the assessment is incredibly powerful, with quick movements, and its weapons are impenetrable. Compared to the expert divine power realm, it is 3 to 5 times stronger. Hearing this, Fong Han suddenly realized. At this moment, Hong Yi added, I heard that the divine power puppet in this competition is the strongest DD demon person captured by the Yu Hua Gate, created through the collaboration of many elders. Are you confident you can win? Lu Kang, annoyed, closed his fan and said, we'll find out when we try. At this point, Fong Han turned to look into Immortal Crane's eyes and thought to himself, these disciples are all extraordinary individuals, and they are very wary of the examination. The Crane Fairy also warned me to be cautious. Thinking of this, he anxiously broke out in a sweat, wondering, what exactly is the DD demon person? Suddenly, the door over there opened, releasing thick clouds of smoke. Behind the door, 2 shadowy figures of men stepped out. The man in red opened his mouth and said, the examination for outside sect disciples begins, you all may enter. Hearing this, everyone started to go in, and when it was Fong Han's turn, he stepped forward and presented his token. The man reached out to take it, looked closely at the token, and was taken aback, thinking to himself, I didn't expect it to be a recommendation letter from Purple Lightning Peak. Fong Han found this extremely confusing, is there something wrong with my recommendation letter? This person looked at Fong Han from head to toe and thought to himself, this disciple doesn't seem outstanding, nor is he as impressive as the noble descendants. But thinking of this, the person suddenly chuckled, no, go ahead and take the test. He took the token and respectfully clasped his hands towards the other. A moment later, inside the Stepping on Immortals Institute, crowded with figures, a man with green hair stood up and spoke, today you are participating in the examination of my Yu Hua Gate, surely you know what the content of the test is? Defeating the divine power puppet will allow you to officially become an outside sect disciple of Yu Hua Gate. But if you think of this as just a test and underestimate the divine power and its brutal nature, you will not know why you died. At this moment, a pair of fierce eyes appeared behind a window covered with thick chains, letting out a bloodthirsty roar. Then he continued, this examination is meant to tell you that the path of immortality is not about leisurely riding a crane, peacefully without storms. This is a road that cannot be turned back, requiring you to have a strong heart realm. Overcoming all obstacles, vanquishing countless demons, with no fear in his heart. Then came the command to seize fate from the heavens. He stood above, raising his hand to shoulder height, creating an arc, now unleash your power, slay the foreign demons, and take the first step on the long path of immortality. Immediately, the chains behind him were shattered, revealing a massive divine power puppet that charged forward aggressively. He coldly waved his hand aside and spoke, Lu Kang, you are the first to undergo the trial. Remember, as long as you step out of the circle on the ground, your achievements will be nullified. Upon hearing this, he kicked his leg back and swung his fan. This man was Lu Kang, the eldest son of the Zhenyong Marquis of the Great Li Empire. He swung the fan, creating a slicing blow, but was immediately dodged by the divine power puppet. Then, it stomped down hard, ferociously lunging its claws at Lu Kang, tearing a long gash from his shoulder down to his abdomen, causing him to grit his teeth in pain. The divine power puppet continued to claw madly forward, forcing Lu Kang into a passive position, constantly jumping to evade the attacks. Fong Han stood below, mouth agape in shock, silently thinking, this is too demonic. The entire battle is just chaotic slaughter. Every move aimed to slice open the belly, extract the heart, cut the intestines, and crush the brain. Lu Kang dodged quickly, but if he wasn't careful, he would be pushed to the brink and caught off guard. At this moment, Lu Kang grimaced in pain, gritted his teeth in anger, and rushed forward to unleash the blood battle 3 moves, severing the hand of the divine power puppet. Then, he used the great river sword Qi, thrusting powerfully into the puppet's belly, causing a massive explosion. Lu Kang lost all his strength, his soul seemed to drift away, and he collapsed onto the floor. Then a loud voice echoed, "In the circle, defeat the puppet." Achieved. Lu Kang becomes a disciple of the outside sect Yu Hua Immortal sect. A moment later, every member of the noble families was brutally defeated by the divine power puppet. Some were seriously injured and unconscious, while others even lost limbs. If the examiners didn't intervene, they would die tragically on the spot. The remaining few who witnessed the situation chose to leave. Until it was her turn. Hong Yi gently drew her sword from its sheath and confidently stepped forward, saying, "Next, let me take my turn." Immediately following her words was a fierce stomp from the divine power puppet. It aggressively raised its hand high, preparing to strike down, but was met with several swift cuts from Hong Yi's first feather sword Qi, striking in all directions. Then, she rushed forward, executing the dual dance sword Qi, in a state of readiness. But suddenly, Hong Yi jumped high, leaving the divine power puppet in confusion, and gently landed on its head. After that, she thrust her move down to its throat, causing the divine power puppet to be defeated and fall to the ground. Immediately, a loud voice rang out, "Hong Yi, pass." Fong Han, standing behind, followed Hong Yi with his gaze, thinking to himself, "Impressive, she passed the assessment with ease, definitely not to be underestimated." At this moment, the voice rang out again, interrupting his thoughts, "Next person, Fong Han." Fong Han took a step forward, entering the circle, and raised both hands in defense in front of him. The man from earlier looked surprised and stared at Fong Han. "Aren't you going to use a weapon?" In response to his question, Fong Han innocently scratched his head, "Oh, I don't have a weapon." Hearing this, the man was amused and waved his hand sideways, "Not bad, very courageous." Divine puppet. A pair of fierce red eyes from the divine power emerged from the door, then it threw a massive punch forward. Fong Han frowned, focused his gaze, and gently raised his right hand to block the divine power's attack without being moved at all. A little bit. Then, he calmly shut his eyes tightly, causing the divine power puppet in front of him to fall silent. It trembled in fear, continuously taking steps back. Hong Yi frowned at the scene before him, thinking to himself, "What kind of situation is this? This person's physical body can withstand a strike from the divine power puppet, yet now the divine power puppet seems a bit afraid." At this moment, the corners of Fong Han's mouth lifted slightly. He then began to punch the divine power puppet's body fiercely, shouting loudly, "Let me see if I can dismantle you." At this time, the divine power puppet was punctured with several large holes, after which it lost all fighting strength and collapsed to its knees on the ground, creating a tremendous noise. Hong Yi's eyes widened in shock. The divine power puppet actually knelt down. The man earlier gritted his teeth, sweating profusely, and thought to himself, "What kind of martial art has he mastered? His physical strength is so powerful that even the divine power puppet is afraid." Fong Han's expression showed a hint of dissatisfaction, thinking, "Is it still not smashed because I haven't used all my strength yet?" Then, he exhaled, channeling all his strength into his hand, tightening his fist. Focusing intently on the target ahead, suddenly, the man ran forward and raised his hand to cut across. The divine power puppet has lost all fighting capability. This is the first time in history. The assessment is over. Hearing this, the boy's face lit up, and he grinned widely, "So I have succeeded, right?" He suddenly frowned and turned to look at the two men behind him. The three of them entered the illusion to negotiate. The man in blue spoke up, "That's right, Fang Qing has really taken Yu Hua Gate as her own. Last month, she introduced several members of the Fong family. Today, she has introduced another one." The man in red turned to speculate, "Fang Qing is incredibly fierce and headstrong. Previously, she had a conflict with Jin Shitai over a servant, seriously injuring an outer sect disciple of Jade Flame Peak. That servant is Fong Han." At this point, the man widened his eyes in astonishment. "Moreover, pay attention everyone. Fang Qing left a letter, and the purple lightning condensed into characters that moved on their own, possessing spiritual essence. If I'm not mistaken, she has entered the magical talent secret realm at the 4th level of the Yin-Yang realm. The other man sighed in annoyance and walked away. Yu Hua Gate has over 100,000 disciples, including core disciples. There were only a little over 100 people. The Supreme Sect Master had also mentioned that he paid special attention to Fong Qing Shui. Fong Han indeed had abilities, yet I couldn't see him as a talent. Let's consider he has succeeded. Returning to reality, he raised his hand and coughed lightly, then extended his hand towards Fong Han. Fong Han, you have succeeded. The boy trembled with joy, clenched his fists, and shouted loudly, "This is great." He laughed with squinted eyes, thinking to himself, "Mom, I finally." But suddenly, footsteps approached, interrupting his thoughts. Hong Yi walked closer and raised her hand, smiling, "Hello, your name is Fong Han, right? I am Hong Yi. From now on, we will both be outside sect disciples, and I hope to learn from you more." Hearing this, Fong Han turned around in confusion, thinking, is she the Hong Yi princess? She looked intently at him, "You are very impressive." Her compliment made Fong Han feel a bit proud. He scratched the back of his head, we're the same. I just practiced a bit of martial arts, my muscles are a bit stronger. The princess's swordsmanship can kill in the blink of an eye, she can defeat a puppet in 10 moves, far superior to me. Saying this, he shook hands with Hong Yi and then thought to himself. It seems that today I am not only not looked down upon by the noble disciples, but I can also show them my worth and potentially win them over. The competition among outside sect disciples is very fierce, without teammates, it is indeed very difficult to survive. After thinking for a moment, I tilted my head slightly to one side and smiled, in the future, let's help each other, I hope to receive more guidance. Hong Yi replied in a pleasant tone, no need, just call me Hong Yi. Then there were a few others who looked like princes or nobles of the Dali kingdom, who not only acted fiercely but also wielded divine weapons, quickly dispatching the puppets. The assessment concluded, and in front of hundreds of thousands of noble families, only 20 people ultimately became outside sect disciples. After a while, the man from earlier spoke up, the assessment is over. From today on, you are members of Yu Hua Gate. At this point, his expression became serious, your status is not ordinary, your words and actions must strictly adhere to the rules. He then waved his hand lightly, and several chests appeared unexpectedly, these are the essential items for you, choose for yourselves. Fong Han was surprised to see the chest beside him, which was filled with various items. The Huai Spirit Talisman is essential. The Tian armor can prevent all poisons from invading and protect against blades and spears. The demon-slaying sword can slay evil spirits and malevolent ghosts, avoiding all evil forces. In addition, there is a gem book recording the 3 fundamental martial arts of the Yu Hua Gate, Pine Crane 10,000 Longevity Fist, Flying Spirit Soft Bone, and Dragon Form Flying Tiger Steps. Moreover, there are the rules of events from the elite immortal sects, Deep Abyss, beyond the seas of various dynasties. Suddenly, Fong Han paused on a dark page of the book and thought, I've found it, deep underground, beneath us, there unexpectedly exists a place like this. From behind, Hong Yi approached, placing a hand on his shoulder, Fong Han, let's go. We need to tidy up at the Stepping on Immortals Institute first, and then we can call someone to go eat. He glanced back at the person and nodded slightly. A moment later, Fong Han was sitting in meditation when suddenly, his eyebrows furrowed together, thinking, as the breath flows, my whole body feels invigorated, the essence of the 9 apertures golden elixir has merged into my bones and marrow. At this moment, Fong Han's inner self widened his eyes, and around him, whirlwinds of spiritual energy surged. Then, he stomped his foot down hard, and behind him appeared the shadow of a tiger steps. Next, Fong Han moved at an extremely fast speed. He could only see a shadow, and his eyes sparkled with determination to execute his technique. But suddenly, another Fong Han appeared in his mind, using the tiger's maneuver. The previous Fong Han fell back, avoiding the attack, then charged forward to strike, but all his blows were blocked. At that moment, the real Fong Han was drenched in sweat, biting his lip, internal organs grant the body like iron, beginning to break through the physical body realm of the 7-fold internal organs. However, Fong Han suddenly opened his eyes wide and coughed up a large amount of blood. Then he wiped his mouth with his hand, increasingly furious, damn it, is it because the breakthrough happened too quickly? It seems I still haven't been diligent enough in refining my body. Hong Yi entered the room through the door. Fong Han, are you done packing? Let's go. Seeing the scene before him, Hong Yi was astonished. Your martial arts have unexpectedly advanced again, in such a short time. Fong Han, looking very exhausted, got off the bed. I have been stuck at the aura realm for a long time. Today's fight with the puppet was just the right moment for a breakthrough. Let's go, we're going to eat. I still don't know what the food at Yushan Hall is like. A moment later, the two appeared at the Yushan Hall restaurant. Hong Yi reached out to grab the piece of paper on the table and asked Fong Han, what are you eating? Then, she dropped the paper into the water, and a fish swam from a distance to nibble at it. At this moment, Fong Han also spoke up, Hong Yi, you seem very familiar with Yu Hua Gate. Because my mother used to be a disciple of Yu Hua Gate. Suddenly, the lotus flower in Hong Yi's hand grew larger, revealing many eye-catching dishes inside. Hong Yi then added, those who are harmed by others, I entered Yu Hua Gate to cultivate until reaching the magical talent's secret realm to take revenge for the blood feud. Fong Han, we must become disciples of the inside sect as soon as possible. Fong Han, sitting beside her, decisively replied, yes, a life for a life, debts must be repaid. We will train to reach magical talent. At this point, he thought to himself, Princess Hong Yi and I have similar circumstances. Suddenly, Lu Kang appeared with a group of people behind Fong Han and Hong Yi, saying, finally found you too, let me introduce you to some acquaintances. Among the group, a well-dressed man spoke up, Lu Kang, is this the assistant you invited? I fear they will only cause more trouble. Hearing that, the two turned around because they felt looked down upon. Hong Yi, irritated, glared at him, are we supposed to be the ones causing trouble? Please show a bit more respect in your words and tone. From that group, a young woman stepped forward and interrupted, Your Highness, we are not talking about you, but about the person next to you. Saying that, she made a contemptuous face towards Fong Han, I don't know where you crawled out from, but you want to rely on us to get a spot as an inside sect disciple. Ha, you think too highly of yourself. Fong Han was furious, glaring at the woman, what did you just say? The man narrowed his eyes at him, looking displeased, you seem quite dissatisfied, but it's just a cultivation of the physical body at the 7th level, there are plenty of those in the Yu Hua Gate. After saying that, he attacked, launching a move towards Fong Han, who stared at him in frustration, just because I have a slightly dissatisfied tone and expression, you want to start a fight? Suddenly, he had to open his eyes wide in shock at the dangerous attack from him. Hong Yi panicked and shouted loudly, be careful, it's the 9-tyrant dragon fist. Immediately, he stomped back, executing the long tiger pounce to narrowly avoid the attack. Then, the 9-tyrant dragon fist struck hard against the wall behind. A loud explosion occurred. Fong Han gritted his teeth and looked back, thinking to himself, this person's martial arts are at least at the divine bravery realm. He slightly opened his mouth and said, your reaction is quite sharp. But the dragon form flying tiger steps you used is indeed a waste. The person then extended his hand sideways, creating sparks of electricity, and suddenly jumped high, using wind thunder slash to strike down at Fong Han. However, Fong Han managed to block it with both hands. The man stared in shock, thinking, what is this? He can actually take it head-on. Then he continuously unleashed attacks while Fong Han kept dodging. But soon, Fong Han, filled with anger, looked forward and thought, I can't keep dodging, I can only fight back directly because my advantage lies in the recovery ability of my bones. Immediately, Fong Han counterattacked, using the flying spirit's soft bone body to perform a soft palm strike, kicking the man's stomach, sending him flying backward. The man grimaced and raised his hand to hold his stomach, but after the counterattack, Fong Han was seriously injured and leaned slightly forward. He looked up with a furious gaze, thinking, damn it, I just broke through to the realm and got internal injuries, and now it flares up at this moment. Then he bent his knees into a stance, stomped his foot, charged forward, and aimed for a quick victory. He threw a punch at him. The guy slightly raised his voice, is this your counterattack? However, he leaned to the side and grabbed Fong Han's arm, leaving him extremely surprised. Next, this guy executed the immortal fishing cart, throwing Fong Han into the air and then letting him fall freely. He stomped down hard and unleashed a palm strike into Fong Han's stomach, causing him to crash to the ground, roll a few times, and then lie face down, motionless. Hong Yi saw this, gasped, widened his eyes, screamed in panic, and hurriedly ran towards Fong Han, who was lying there. Quickly throwing his arm over Fong Han's shoulder, he helped him up. "Fong Han, are you okay?" Fong Han, angry, slowly raised his face to respond, "I'm fine, impressed, very impressed." Hong Yi looked curiously at the group of people. The immortal fishing cart is a martial arts technique from Wangue Immortal Island, extremely mysterious. "May I ask how Bao Imperial Prince learned it?" The person stood with his back turned, proudly stating, "In our Dada dynasty, what martial arts do we not possess? Your physique isn't bad, you've consumed some elixirs, haven't you? But unfortunately, your combat experience is too little, and your adaptability is too weak, though you have some value. Consider this your admission this time." Saying that, Bao Imperial Prince raised his hand to signal. "Let's go, wait for the sect to announce the training news, you all come to find me again." Hong Yi saw Fong Han gasping for breath and turned to ask him, "Are you okay?" He smirked slightly, a faint smile on his lips. "A true man can bend and stretch. If I lose all my willpower because of this failure, then there's no point in talking about the magical talent's secret realm anymore." After saying this, he thought to himself, "But I'm not a gentleman either. Today I lost to someone better, and in the future, when I succeed in my cultivation, I will definitely wash away the shame of this moment." The scene shifted to Qing Shue's residence, where she looked down at the person below and said, "You mean Fong Han lost to Bao Imperial Prince?" After saying this, she coldly stepped down from her chair and huffed, "Lack of practical experience, underestimating the opponent, someone reckless like that is not worth mentioning." Suddenly, she stopped and firmly spoke, "Cancel the supervision over Fong Han." At this moment, her gaze softened as she told herself, "Fong Qing Shui, you must not pay attention to him like that anymore, focusing on cultivation is the right path." However, she took a step towards the window and said, "You may leave for now." The woman thought to herself, the first miss is becoming harder to predict day by day. It always feels like the person's intention is not that way. Qing Shui opened the window, looked out at the scenery, and thought to herself, this failure will only make him stronger. Those insignificant imperial princes are just stepping stones in the path of opportunity. Transitioning to the morning a few days later, Fong Han was looking around curiously. "Hong Yi, are you there? It's strange, where has Hong Yi gone?" He furrowed his brows and thought, "This time I lost to the Bao Imperial Prince because my practical combat experience is too limited. The only time I fought was against the divine power puppet, and it is indeed hard to compare with a royal disciple who has exceptional talent and rich combat experience. However, if he can use the martial arts of Wangue Immortal Island, then I can also use the martial arts of Qing sect, without too much hesitation." Having thought this, he stepped forward to open the door and called out, "Hong Yi, I need to discuss something with you." But in front of him was the figure of Hong Yi taking a bath. Hearing his voice, she was startled, hurriedly sat down, and shouted, "Fong Han, you can't come in. What do you want to find me for?" In front of the sight of a woman bathing, Fong Han expressionlessly raised his hand to his chest, "I need your help to practice martial arts. I want a rematch to defeat the Bao Imperial Prince." Hearing this, Hong Yi was a bit surprised. Then, she stepped out of the bathtub and wrapped a towel around herself. She picked up a piece of paper, and immediately a set of clothes appeared. Next, she went out to meet Fong Han. "Fong Han, the martial arts of Bao Imperial Prince are a fusion of countless martial arts. Today, losing to him in just one move is not unjust. I fear that when I fight him, I might not be his match either." Fong Han placed his hand on his chest, filled with determination. "If you want to kill me with a sword, let's spar. I need real-life life-and-death combat, many real-life battles to train myself." His gaze was resolute without a hint of hesitation. "You should kill without mercy, definitely don't hold back." After hearing this, Hong Yi glanced to the side, deep in thought. "Kill without mercy, you say?" Seeing that she was silent, he continued, "What are you hesitating about? Isn't this what you are best at?" Fong Han's words left Hong Yi stunned and extremely surprised. A moment later, she drew her sword and attacked forward, but Fong Han tilted his head slightly, dodging the sword strike. At that moment, his forehead was lightly grazed, leaving a shallow cut. Hong Yi's expression darkened as she shot a glance at him. "How did you notice?" Fong Han glanced to the side and explained. In your hand, there are not only the calluses typical of a martial artist wielding a sword but also many irregular faint scars. I guess they are from frequently using weapons like a vajra, spear, or throwing daggers. Hong Yi viciously wielded her sword, jumping behind him. But immediately, Fong Han spread his legs to the side, leaning to avoid her strike. Then he continued. You also have some injuries from battles. Moreover, you know about the sects and various intelligence within the great families. If you were just a princess of the royal family, why would you have those distinctive traits? At this moment, Hong Yi was startled and looked forward, leaning to evade Fong Han's 7 stars fist technique. Then she raised her hand, creating counter arrows that startled him, making him grit his teeth and dodge. Seeing this, she thought to herself. Fong Han is truly not simple. He quickly jumped back and landed firmly on the ground. Then, Fong Han looked at Hong Yi and shouted. Come on. Hearing this, she, without any patience, rushed towards him, thinking. He guessed right. To train my physical and mental resilience, and for revenge, I have become the ace assassin of Hong Xian in the martial world. Under my sword, there are already over 100,000 souls of the wicked. After a stick of incense had passed, Fong Han was covered in wounds, gasping for breath. Hong Yi coldly approached him and said, You have bled too much today. Go bandage your wounds and rest. Hearing this, Fong Han excitedly shouted, All right, we continue tomorrow. Suddenly, Hong Yi froze and turned around. By the way, Fong Han. How did you learn the martial arts of the Qing sect? Upon hearing this, he turned around and replied, The Bao Imperial Prince can learn the ultimate skills of various sects, so it's not surprising that I know the martial arts of the Qing sect. But for now, I hope you can help me keep this a secret. Hong Yi stared at Fong Han in confusion. Why? Unless it poses a threat to your safety. Perhaps, I just want to be a bit cautious. At least for now, I don't want too many people to know. As he said this, he frowned and thought to himself, especially Fong Qing Shui. Hong Yi, upon hearing this, didn't want to pry further and changed the subject. You probably still don't know why Lu Kang came looking for the Bao Imperial Prince, right? After hearing this, Fong Han asked in confusion, Why is that? Seeing that he had no idea, she began to explain. Sha Fei Limitless Sea's desert is wreaking havoc in the Lang Yu kingdom, requesting help from the Yu Hua Gate. According to intelligence, among the Sha Fei there are also demon persons, and even disciples of the demonic sect who follow the Tao. The elder of the Yu Hua Gate instructed the core disciples to set out and will also select a few outside sect disciples for training. If they can slay the leader of the demon generals, they will qualify to participate in the assessment for inside sect disciples. Fong Han, upon hearing this, was startled and panicked. Did I hear that wrong? The assessment for inside sect disciples. After that day, 20 days passed, and he was determined to train and break through to the 8th level of the physical body realm. During this time, he practiced combat with Hong Yi, refining the entire 9 apertures golden elixir. The initial marks on his body had shed, like a snake shedding its skin. He could feel that the new skin was tougher, and a thick layer of flesh had developed beneath it. The 9 apertures golden elixir had helped Fong Han build the strongest physique. At this moment, Hong Yi happily ran up to him. Fong Han, my techniques can no longer harm you. You have reached the 8th level of the physical body realm, the divine bravery realm. Suddenly, a paper bird appeared in the sky. Instantly, it caught fire and dove down towards 2 people, then the words appeared, the disciples of the Stepping on Immortals Institute gather. A moment later, at the majestic and crowded Stepping on Immortals Institute, many people had gathered. At this time, a man stood on a high podium and spoke loudly down to the crowd. Surely many of you have heard about the Limitless Sea's desert. The purpose this time is twofold: first, to rescue the Blue Moon Kingdom from danger, and second, for your body refining. Disciples from the outside sect who succeed in body refining can earn a quota to be promoted to the inside sect. If inside sect disciples succeed in body refining and reach the magical talent secret realm, they can be promoted to true disciples. Heavenly Wolf Little Zhenren Wang Mo Lin of the Demon God sect, Chun Hu Little Demon Girl of the Heavenly Demon sect, Hong Fan Prince of the Lu Yu Demon sect. If you kill one of them, you will receive a Yin Yang 10,000 longevity pill. Suddenly, the crowd below began to buzz with excitement. The Yin Yang 10,000 longevity pill, that is indeed a secret treasure of the sect. Hong Yi stood in the crowd, frowning as he looked at Fong Han. With such conditions, the disciples on the mountain river list will surely take action. However, killing these beings is not as easy as it seems. I fear that attempting to kill the demons may lead to being killed in return. At this moment, the man stood on the platform and spoke loudly. Anyone who feels that their cultivation is not yet up to par can stay in the sect to continue their training. The path of cultivating immortals is rugged and fraught with challenges. Life and death are hard to discuss. But only by being tempered in life and death, and seeing through the horrors of existence, can one truly unlock their magical talent. How the path ahead unfolds is up to each of you to decide. After finishing his words, he soared into the sky and disappeared. Fong Han, with a serious expression, turned to his side. Hong Yi, this time we must. Suddenly, a proud voice rang out. Ha ha ha. Lu Kang, aren't your people here? Bao, the imperial prince, and his followers approached, appearing extremely arrogant. Just in time, I have a few tasks that need you to handle. Fong Han curled his lips in a disdainful smile at the man in front of him. Menial tasks. Bao, the imperial prince, should first settle the matter between us. He let out a delighted "oh" and closed his fan. It seems you hold me in high regard. After just 20 days of hard training, you're already talking arrogantly. Your heart is too narrow, you don't understand the principle that a gentleman's revenge is not too late even after 10 years. A narrow-minded person cannot achieve great things. Fong Han interrupted him, saying, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. 10 years is too long, I just want to settle this right away. He shrugged with delight, confidently moving forward. The future is unpredictable, the present is all that matters. Besides, life is full of suffering and fleeting. Instead of dwelling on the past 10 years, it's better to fight now. This is the courage in my heart. Then, he stomped his foot firmly on the ground and charged toward his panic-stricken face. You are too scheming, the immortal Tao is hard to achieve. It seems you will never cultivate and never reach the magical talent's secret realm. The immortal Tao requires bravery and diligence, not cunning schemes and patience, much less a treacherous heart. The path of the immortal Tao does not accommodate such despicable individuals. He furrowed his brow, sweating in fear. Immediately, he frantically struck forward to attack. Who cares to listen to your nonsense? Hong Yi was startled, exclaiming, it's the everlasting hatred finger method, a martial art of the everlasting hatred faction. At that moment, Fong Han deftly dodged to the side, then stepped back to execute the foot stepping on 7 stars technique. Fong Han lifted his leg like a soccer player and then used the Northern Dipper's iron leg to strike forcefully at the opponent's abdomen. He was thrown backward, vomiting a significant amount of blood. The man grimaced and stepped back, crossing his arms defensively, his face darkening as he thought to himself, how can this be possible? Fong Han smiled slightly, amused, you can defend against that? Then, raising both hands, he leaned to the side and unleashed a flurry of attacks that converged on him, inflicting a deep wound on his chest. Blood splattered everywhere, causing him to cry out in pain, and then he fell freely from above, crashing hard onto the stone floor. Fong Han reached out to the side, continuing his assault. He quickly charged toward Bao Imperial Prince when suddenly a voice rang out. A man appeared, intervening between the two. Immediately, he launched an attack at Fong Han. The sword flew toward him at an incredible speed. In the next moment, Fong Han turned around in shock, astonished. On the other side, Hong Yi also panicked and shouted, Fong Han, be careful. It's a spiritual energy flying sword. Fong Han nimbly jumped back to evade the attack. Seeing this, the man gritted his teeth in anger and then executed the technique of myriad swords surging forward. Countless swords rushed rapidly toward Fong Han. He looked up and saw an overwhelming number of swords in the sky, his eyes widening in disbelief. You reluctantly sought help from Yen. Then, the intersecting yellow springs chart inside you suddenly shook violently and absorbed the swords within. Everyone around witnessed this scene in great panic. He angrily raised his hand to hold his head, thinking, how can it disappear? This is clearly the spiritual energy refined with my blood. Dealing with a mere outside sect disciple should be no problem. I called out with all my strength, yet there was no response at all. How could he absorb my fly sword? Could it be? Thinking of this, he stepped closer to Fong Han and raised his hand, It seems I was not mistaken. I didn't expect you to also possess superior spiritual energy. What happened earlier was a misunderstanding. Please return my fly sword to me. Hearing this, Fong Han stood still for a moment. A moment later, his brows furrowed, looking at the person in front of him, thinking, if Yen hadn't helped me absorb the sword, I would have been secretly harmed by him long ago. He's quite clever, conceding so quickly. But to return the sword. Thinking this, he feigned indifference. If you want the fly sword, come to Purple Lightning Peak to take it later. Upon hearing this, his followers' faces darkened, and they shouted loudly. Purple Lightning Peak. Fong Qing Shui. At this moment, footsteps approached, and a woman appeared, sitting down to treat the wounds of the Bao Imperial Prince. This junior brother, the spiritual peak sword of my junior brother, is a high-grade spiritual energy bestowed by the elder after achieving great merit, having slain countless demons and evil beings. I hope you can return it, otherwise, this trip will be extremely dangerous, and we may be harmed by the demon beings. Saying this, she stood up and looked towards Fong Han. Earlier, he acted recklessly, but this is just a minor issue. Uniting together to eliminate evil is the bigger matter. Mo's senior sister coldly continued, I still hope Fong junior brother will prioritize the overall situation. Here, I apologize on behalf of my junior brother to you, Fong junior brother. Fong Han hesitated slightly, staring at her, thinking, this woman is truly formidable. The aura around her can be compared to Master Bai Hai Chan, at the physical body 7th stage divine transformation realm. Her words sound like an apology, but in reality, she is pressuring me to hand over the flying sword. However, I really cannot give it up right now, I can only respond like this. Thinking of this, he smirked and clasped his hands, speaking up. Mo's senior sister, we understand everything you said, but the first miss granted me spiritual energy only told me that it can be used for self-defense, without explaining how to use it. At this point, Fong Han confidently looked ahead. Tomorrow, I will return to Purple Lightning Peak. I ask the first miss to take the spiritual peak sword out of its seal and return it to senior brother. How about that? Hearing this, Mo's senior sister frowned in confusion, then relaxed her facial muscles and raised her hand. I have no objections, so let's proceed as planned. Tomorrow we will set off together to the Limitless Seas Desert. The man from earlier, furious, shouted loudly. Mo's senior sister, my spiritual peak sword cannot be taken by him. Fong Han glared at him, causing the man to break out in a cold sweat, not daring to say another word. Then, Fong Han clasped his hands respectfully. Mo's senior sister. The Bao Imperial Prince, annoyed, crossed his arms over his chest. I will make you know what regret feels like. Fong Han reached behind his head and chuckled lightly. Ha, it must be so. Earlier, Mo's senior sister also said to prioritize the bigger picture. He turned around behind the immortal crane and added. I will return to Purple Lightning Peak first to make arrangements, farewell. After speaking, immortal crane and he flew away, racing like a rocket towards Purple Lightning Peak. Fong Han took the opportunity to sit on Immortal Crane's back and cultivate. At this moment, deep within his heart, the spiritual energy Yen emerged. Little guy, my magical power is not enough to take form right now. Listen to my true self, quickly drop some blood to refine the spiritual peak sword. Fong Han replied in confusion, drop blood to refine it. But it already belongs to someone else's spiritual energy. Yes, you are still just a kid who doesn't understand the world, not knowing the power of the intersecting Yellow Springs chart. Erasing its spiritual mark is not difficult at all. Hearing this, he felt utterly helpless. I see you just want to take the opportunity to absorb a bit more power. Yen Oldman, hearing this, pouted, just do as you see fit. However, Fong Han slowly opened his eyes. A moment later, his expression turned serious. That evening, in Fong Han's room, he spoke wearily, what is it again, Grandma? Immortal Crane lay on him, both of them looking at each other in panic. Fong Han, you are in trouble again. Just a few hours have passed, and your incidents have spread all over Purple Lightning Peak already. At this point, Immortal Crane leaned in closer and shouted into his face, what is this about demon sects and superstitions? No way, I must help you, otherwise you will be bullied by others. Fong Han calmly sat up and pushed her away. Then tell me, how do you want to help me? I will teach you the primordial spirit astral art, which Fong Qing Shui taught me before. He was half skeptical, frowning and asking, you want to teach me the primordial spirit astral art? She eagerly nodded lightly, yes, yes. Sit cross-legged, exhale, focus your spirit into the Tianmen point on the top of your head, and silently recite the formula, Ziyu Buji Tu Tianmen. Hearing this, Fong Han sat cross-legged, placed his hands in front of his abdomen, and recited, Ziyu Buji Tu Tianmen. Suddenly, a large door appeared in his mind. Then Fong Han slowly approached, is this the door to magical talent? Breaking through the door to magical talent can lead to the magical talent's secret realm. A moment later, he was sweating profusely, this is not good. My energy is depleted, and the black mist in my head is increasing, I can no longer see the door to magical talent clearly. After that, Fong Han weakly collapsed. The scene shifts to the morning of the next day. Hong Yi entered the room and shouted, Fong Han, it's time to set off. Hearing that, he jumped up in alarm. This is bad. The girl crossed her arms in annoyance, Fong Han, at such an important time, you still overslept. He scratched his head and smiled sheepishly, sorry, I practiced a bit late last night. Then the three of them, Hong Yi, Lu Kong, and Fong Han, stepped onto the road. At this moment, something was wriggling on the bed. A moment later, Immortal Crane drowsily sat up, hey, where did everyone go? Seeing no one around, Immortal Crane puffed her cheeks in displeasure, you dare not take me along. Then, unwillingly, she shouted, I want to go too. The scene shifted to the arid limitless seas desert, where everyone was gathered in large numbers. Suddenly, Fong Han noticed something and turned to ask Hong Yi, who is that person? The girl looked towards the man and explained, he is Yuan Jian Kong, the 10th-ranked disciple inside sect in the Mountain River list. Suddenly, a strange noise came from afar, and then the silhouettes of the Sha Fei appeared. They drew their bows and aimed at Fong Han's group. Then, a rain of arrows fell from the sky. Fong Han quickly used his bare hands to break the arrows. Suddenly, an arrow shot straight into Fong Han's chest but was blocked by his shield. Everyone continuously defended against the torrential rain of arrows. Hong Yi turned her back to Fong Han, saying, let's rely on each other. Although these arrows can't penetrate us, the rain of arrows is relentless. She swung her sword, slicing through the arrows and added, it will gradually wear down the spiritual practitioners. At that moment, a surge of power appeared from afar, knocking away hundreds of arrows, and a figure emerged, exclaiming, a bunch of insignificant pests. Yuan Jian Kong shouted angrily, show yourself, the main culprit. After saying this, he unleashed a sword strike that took down several Sha Fei members and proclaimed, my silver snake sword is a top-tier spiritual energy forged from the blood of a 1,000-year-old silver snake, combined with 10 copper ores. It is just a step away from reaching the realm of a treasured weapon. Suddenly, a powerful force emanated from the Sha Fei side, countering Yuan Jian Kong's attack. At that moment, a man called out loudly, it's Prince Hong Fan of the Lu Yu demonic sect. The androgynous man over there responded, that's right, I am the prince. Fong Han curiously turned to ask Hong Yi, is this the Hong Fan prince? If I kill him, can I receive a Yin Yang 10,000 longevity pill? Upon hearing this, the prince raised his eyebrows arrogantly, Yu Hua Gate people are so determined to kill this prince that you would reward a Yin Yang 10,000 longevity pill. The golden elixir supreme that the sect master of Yu Hua Gate has spent the blood essence of the longevity secret realm to refine. After saying this, his expression darkened, this prince is even tempted to kill himself just to claim that pill. Then he waved his hands, and a chilling aura emanated around him, gathering some spiritual energy to arrange a sword formation. You think you can kill me with such tricks? At this point, he shouted loudly, 10 great demon generals. At the same time, a Fei Tian Azura demon general appeared in the sky, so many Yu Hua Gate disciples. Not bad. Hand over your spiritual energy obediently, and let us turn you into a great strength golden corpse. Watching the demon general attacking with his moves, Yuan Jian Kong was very confused. Earth demon people have always slaughtered each other, yet now they have united. What agreement have they reached? At this moment, Mo senior sister and two men launched their techniques. Heaven Chicken Extreme Yang Rope created countless iron chains, rushing swiftly towards the Hong Fan prince. His gaze turned cold. The 3D Demon Emperors have reached a common understanding with us, and together we will cleanse the immortal Tao's 10 sections. Your deaths are just the beginning. After saying this, he reached through the gap, using Lu Yuan Thunder, swiftly taking down the group in an instant. Meanwhile, Hong Yi was in pain from his attack. Fong Han was extremely panicked upon seeing this. The Hongfen Prince, weapon in hand, smugly declared, "The silver snake sword and heaven chicken extreme yang rope now belong to me, right?" Yuan Jiankong's face turned pale as he thought, damn it, now I can only try to resist the poison soul refine. But the silver snake sword has been taken. In the next moment, this person's figure blurred and slowly disappeared before the Hongfen Prince. He huffed in annoyance, what a useless person. Meanwhile, Hong Yi and Fong Han lay collapsed on the ground from the poison, with Hong Yi's eyes dimming as he was close to losing consciousness. Indeed, all the poison souls invading his body were trapped by the intersecting Yellow Springs chart, so he was completely unaffected and safe. Hong Yi lay unconscious with a pale face. The Yellow Springs chart is merely a passive defense. However, right now, his blood contains the potency of the 9 apertures golden elixir, and it is still unknown whether it can detoxify or not. At this point, Fong Han decided to take a risk, extending his hand to cut it with the sword, and then slowly dripped a few drops of blood into Hong Yi's mouth. At this moment, Prince Hongfen approached, making a noise that startled him. But then he pressed his face down, pretending to be dead to escape the danger. He stood frozen, slightly opening his mouth to speak, "Little beauty." He looked at Mo's senior sister, who was struggling against the poison, and continued, "You have lost your great fortune, do you still want to struggle in vain?" Provoked, she glared at him with anger, "How dare you?" Hearing this, the prince opened his mouth wide and laughed with delight, "Haha, what do I have to fear? The scenery is quite fitting right now, so why not?" At this point, he tightly clasped Mo's senior sister's mouth and exuded a strong evil energy, "I will enjoy myself right here." Suddenly, from her mouth, a hidden weapon shot straight into his eye, but it was blocked by this guy's shield. The prince looked angrily at the sphere on the shield, water fire pearl. A divine weapon that is hardly even spiritual energy. Immediately, the round object emitted a bright light, followed by a terrifying explosion that injured him and caused him to spit blood. Angrily, he wiped his mouth with his hand, "Is this all you can do?" On this side, Fong Han was planning to ambush him from behind. He rushed forward, swinging his sword to attack the prince. Mo's senior sister slightly opened her eyes to look at the 2 faint silhouettes in front. Who is that? At this moment, the Hongfen prince swung his hand, knocking the sword back. Fong Han's sword struck the ground and bounced into the air. Then, Fong Han soared high, catching the sword with both hands, and quickly dove down towards the prince. His eyes widened as he released a shield to block Fong Han's attack. This guy grew suspicious, staring intently at Fong Han. "I didn't expect someone to be hit by Lu Yuan Thunder Poison Soul and still not die. You must have a magical weapon on you." Saying that, he widened his eyes and performed the Soul Captivator eyes. Fong Han fell into the spell of the Lu Yu demonic sect. Fong Han bit his lip in frustration, thinking, "Fortunately, this Hongfen prince hasn't entered the magical talent's secret realm yet, otherwise I would definitely be dead. I can't let him find an opportunity to counterattack." Then, Yu flew over, hurriedly launching a counterattack. He stood there motionless, only smiling lightly. After that, he raised his hand to unleash the silver snake sword to break the attack. "It seems you still can't freely use that magic weapon, just as I can't use the Heaven Chicken Extreme Yang rope. Could it be a divine artifact?" At this point, he raised both hands, creating a circle of swords, and continuously struck back at the opponent. But you raised both hands to create a shield to block it. The force of the attack was so strong that Fong Han was pushed back. You clenched your teeth, thinking to yourself, "The martial arts of Hongfen Prince are too formidable. I can clearly see that he is indeed injured, yet he pretends in front of us. That last strike couldn't kill him, and now he has forced me into this situation." A moment later, Fong Han shouted in fury, "Hongfen Prince, don't even think about killing me and seizing my magic weapon." Suddenly, at that moment, a slash appeared. Hong Yi had somehow appeared right in front of him. The prince's face twisted in panic as he looked at the sword in front of him, then he quickly created a shield to block the tip of the sword. Hong Yi frowned in astonishment at the sight. Next, he thrust forcefully against the shield, causing the prince to break out in a cold sweat. The sturdy blade caused the prince's defense to tremble. On this side, Fong Han was putting up a strong defense. Suddenly, he caught a glimpse of something. Immediately, he rushed forward with his weapon, channeling all his strength to slash at Hong Fan's shield. At this moment, his defense suddenly shattered under Fong Han's blade. He glared and shouted, "Do you want to die?" Instantly, he became furious and yelled, "Do you think you can kill me like this?" Then, his protective shield grew even larger. But behind him, the 7 kills heavenly wolf smoke was charging forward. It opened its mouth wide, using its sharp teeth to break the shield, leaving the prince astonished. 7 kills heavenly wolf smoke. It can. Isn't it supposed to be in Mo Lin's hands? Immediately, it ferociously shattered the prince's protective barrier and then bit savagely into his shoulder. Instantly, the 7 kills heavenly wolf smoke was retracted, rendering him motionless as he fell hard to the ground. At that moment, the swords also fell out of control. Hong Yi gasped, casting a suspicious glance at him. Is Hong Fan Prince dead? Fong Han stared at his palm, thinking to himself, the 7 kills heavenly wolf smoke is indeed a treasure. Although I only managed to absorb a fraction of it, its power is enough to handle the spiritual energy shield of Hong Fan Prince. The red desire sword of Hong Fan Prince, the silver snake sword left by Yuan Jian Kong, and the true blue sword of Mo's senior sister, a total of 7 flying swords. The quality and magical power of this silver snake sword must be the strongest. Which one do you like? Choose one. Hong Yi hesitated, looking at Fong Han. Even if it falls into our hands, it will be taken back anyway. Moreover, these flying swords must be purified with pure yang medicinal water to cleanse the poisoned soul inside, and then the expert magical talent's secret realm must erase the blood essence spirit of the previous owner. At this point, she glanced at the sword on Fong Han's back. By the way, the spiritual peak sword you obtained earlier, could it have been from Fong Qing Shui? If so, could you help me ask Fong's senior sister for it? Also. Suddenly, she blushed, looking away as she continued, I really appreciate your help in detoxifying me earlier. He turned back to sit next to the prince, saying, it's nothing. She once said that we must help each other. As for the matter of the fly sword, don't worry too much, just let me think of a way. Saying that, he tore the prince's clothes apart. This blood Mian demon clothing is not even worth as much as Hong Fan Prince. We should take him back to Yu Hua Gate to exchange for the Yin Yang 10,000 longevity pill. Hong Yi approached Lu Kang, who was affected by the poison soul. Do you think we should save Lu Kang? Although we are allies, he is quite scheming. He is trying to pull us in to increase his own advantage. If he knows we have obtained so much. Fong Han walked over and wiped his blood on Lu Kang's mouth. But the 3 of us are temporarily allies in both offense and defense, if we can save him, then let's save him. Lu Kang, lying in Fong Han's grasp, slowly opened his eyes. He stood up, rubbed his head, and looked at the 2. You guys were hit by Lu Yuan thunder and still managed to wake up. Fong Han, what pills did you use? Could it be the Yin Yang 10,000 longevity pill? Fong Han stood up and turned his back to respond. Don't worry about those things for now. Hong Fan Prince and Mo's senior sister have both suffered injuries. I used a magic weapon to kill Hong Fan Prince and obtain the treasure on him. Along with the 7 fly swords like the silver snake sword of Yuan Jian Kong and the true blue sword of senior sister Mo, these fly swords have all lost their spirit marks. Upon hearing this, he stood frozen in shock. You killed Prince Hong Fan. You obtained 7 fly swords, and even the blood Mian demon clothing. Then he cunningly raised his hand, Fong Han, why not hand over that silver snake sword and the blood Mian demon clothing to me? You already have the spiritual peak sword along with the treasure that senior sister Fong gave you, these fly sword magic weapons are too many, and it would be hard to control them all. You won't miss this one, will you? Thinking to himself, he mused, I didn't expect this Fong Han to stumble upon such a great opportunity. If I don't take advantage of it now, there may not be another chance later. Fortunately, he has some weaknesses. Fong Han turned to look at him, I want to hand these over to the sect, what if the sect investigates? Lu Kang interrupted him, are you really going to return these fly swords? I understand now, are you afraid of the inside sect's power? Senior sister Mo is still alive, so why not go kill her? That way, she won't be able to testify against you. Fong Han cast a cold glance at him. Lu brother, it was I who used my blood to save you. Moreover, it seems you didn't help at all in this battle. He held up a piece of paper in front of him. Not speaking up is already the biggest help I could offer. Suddenly, a sword swiftly slashed across his neck, startling him, and he widened his eyes to look aside. A foot stepped heavily on the piece of paper. Hong Yi approached, sheathing her sword. So. I told you not to save him, and now he dares to threaten us in return. If I hadn't dealt with him first, he would have used that talisman to bring the people from Yu Hua Gate here. Fong Han said nothing, squatting down in front of Mo's senior sister. Then, he poured his blood into her mouth. Although Mo's senior sister has a different stance from us, compared to those royal disciples, her nature is not considered bad, she doesn't deserve to die. Since we've taken her sword technique, let's do a little good deed. At that moment, suddenly the ground began to glow, as if something was rising up. A moment later, the Heaven Chicken Extreme Yang rope appeared from the ground, soaring high. The lights around it made Fong Han raise his hand to shield his eyes. Then, Heaven Chicken charged fiercely towards Fong Han. He raised both hands in defense, and immediately, the Jiao Long inside him suddenly leaped out. It roared as it delivered a powerful blow to the Heaven Chicken Extreme Yang rope. This caused an enormous explosion on the ground, shaking the heavens and earth, with thick smoke rising so high that nothing could be seen. Hong Yi frantically called out Fong Han's name amidst the explosion. She raised her hand to shield her face from the dust, squinting ahead, "Where are you?" Meanwhile, the two birds and dragons were fiercely tearing at each other. At that moment, Jiao Long bit one of the wings of the Heaven Chicken Extreme Yang rope, rendering it unable to resist. Fong Han gaped in astonishment, looking up. At this moment, spiritual energy Yen also appeared, saying, "Well, little guy, let me give you a little insight into the power of my true form." After saying this, he snapped his fingers. In the next moment, Jiao Long opened its mouth wide and sucked the Heaven Chicken Extreme Yang rope into itself. After that, spiritual energy Yen retracted Jiao Long and placed his hands on his hips, laughing triumphantly, "Ha ha ha, the power of my true form has restored a part of its strength. This Heaven Chicken Extreme Yang rope is indeed a delicacy." Fong Han stared blankly at the scene before him, thinking to himself. "Did you swallow the Heaven Chicken Extreme Yang rope already?" He kept flying back and forth in front of you, mumbling, "Come on, Fong Han, do you not desire power, do you not crave benefits? Become the Demon Emperor and unify the Yellow Springs world." He displayed a delighted expression, spreading his arms wide, roaming the heavens and earth, dominating the world. Fong Han turned around abruptly, raised his hand to scratch his face. "Even if you have a more powerful magic weapon, it can't help me instantly become the Demon Emperor." Yet he was annoyed, continuously waving his hands to shoo him away, otherwise, becoming the Demon Emperor would be too easy. "I don't want to take shortcuts, I just want to rely on myself, don't bother me anymore." The old man Yen chuckled softly, raised his hand to his chin and nodded slightly. "You have seen the long and endless path of cultivation. Very good. Then, just find me a pure young supreme treasure like today, help me restore my strength, and I will teach you one of the cultivation methods from the divine sect of the Yellow Springs chart, step by step assisting you to become the great emperor of the demon sect." After hearing this, Fong Han could only feel helpless, raising his hand to his forehead. "Where can I find a second supreme treasure like the Heaven Chicken Extreme Yang rope?" "Today you have already swallowed it. The Yu Hua Gate will definitely investigate. It is better to think of a solution first." He frowned and explained, "Right now you have merged with the 9 Apertures Golden Elixir. The blood has the aura of the Yellow Springs Great Emperor. I can hide within your body. As for the magic weapon, it seems entirely possible to utilize the power of the Yellow Springs River. When the Yellow Springs River turns into nothingness, it will just be a small paradise. As an outside sect disciple like you, they would suspect you even less. Moreover, the 10 great demon generals earlier have also been absorbed into the Yellow Springs River, slowly nurtured, to transform them into Ashura." At this point, he suddenly paused. "Is someone coming?" The spiritual energy Yen has quickly disappeared. "Their strength is very strong, we cannot confront them at our current level. We must leave quickly. At this moment, through the smoke, Hong Yi rushed over. Fong Han, so you are here. This golden smoke is really strange, I can't see anyone or hear any sounds. No wonder I couldn't find you. Fong Han raised his hand to absorb the corpse inside. Someone is coming, we should leave this place first, taking the body of Hong Fan Prince with us. Saying that, he grasped Hong Yi's hand. Pedal, jump high, and move quickly forward. After a while, two men appeared in the limitless sea's desert. Yuan Jian Kong raised his hand and bowed his head to the man beside him. Senior brother Hua, we are one step late. It is the Hong Fan Prince, he has taken all the spiritual energy, including my silver snake sword. I hope senior brother Hua can help me. Upon hearing this, the man raised his hand to sense. I can feel that the Heaven Chicken Extreme Yang rope has suddenly lost its connection with me. Can the Hong Fan Prince absorb this ultimate Yang supreme treasure? This man was the top disciple of the Tiandu Peak, Yu Hua Gate, Hua Tiandu. As he spoke, he suddenly exuded a chilling aura. Moments later, the ground where he stood was frozen, and a large amount of cold air shot up into the sky. Yuan Jiankong, standing beside him, was also stunned, thinking to himself, Senior brother Hua's magical talent is incredibly strong. Even though I have cultivated to the physical body divine transformation realm and wear spiritual energy garments, I cannot withstand the cold aura he casually emits. He looked at senior sister Mo, who was being frozen, and explained, I have used the heaven cold profound serene force to freeze the life of everyone. Hurry, take them back to the sect for treatment. As for the loss of the spiritual energy magic weapon, we can talk about it later. Yuan Jiankong relies on spiritual energy, which can only increase damage but does not benefit his own cultivation advancement. Losing the silver snake sword might allow you to enter the magical talent's secret realm. Yet, someone was able to erase the spiritual mark I left in the Heaven Chicken Extreme Yang rope. This is something even the 10 Hong Fan princes could not do. Perhaps a character of Elder Demon sect level has manifested. Saying this, Hua Tiandu waved his hand, and a moment later, a burst of energy lifted everyone into the air. You come with me first, quickly inform the Supreme Sect Master, and I will ask the Elder to grant you a new fly sword. Shifting scenes to Blue Moon City, on a cliff not far away, Hong Yi pointed ahead. Fong Han, look, that is the Blue Moon River. Follow the river downstream, and you will get there soon, but it's best to be cautious, there will definitely be a great demon lord of the demon race and Sha Fei setting up camp. Fong Han stepped closer to her. He gazed intently ahead and spoke, Hong Yi, thank you. She looked puzzled and glanced sideways, thank me for what? He turned to look at the other party, thank you for not asking me why I could make the body of Hong Fan Prince disappear, what magic weapon I have hidden on me, or how I could erase the blood essence spirit of the fly sword. She slightly opened her mouth to respond, I thought you wanted to say something else. Hong Yi blinked and smiled slightly, haven't I already said? Everyone has their own secrets. The fewer people know about a secret, the better. Suddenly, a swirling black vortex appeared beneath the cliff, rising into the sky. Fong Han gritted his teeth and looked up, is it the 7 kills heavenly wolf smoke? Out of nowhere, a large bolt of purple lightning descended from the sky, tearing the 7 kills heavenly wolf smoke in half. At that moment, Fong Han was extremely astonished, thinking to himself, does the purple lightning yin thunder blade directly refine those heaven wolves? The two combined create the purple lightning turning into snake. Fong Qing Shui suddenly appeared in the sky, leaving him stunned, and he exclaimed, is it Fong Qing Shui? At this moment, she controlled the purple lightning turning into snake, darting down like lightning to attack a man on the ground. However, this man remained steady against Fong Qing Shui's strike. Fong Han watched the scene before him, breaking into a cold sweat, thinking to himself. Lang Yan was unfortunate to encounter the magical talent of Fong Qing Shui, it was truly a leap into the jaws of death. I fear that the name Yan cannot defeat this first miss either. That person dashed away like the wind. Wang Yamo Lin, furious, turned to look at Qing Shui, have you broken through to the 4th level of the magical talent secret realm? He was enraged, grinding his teeth, damn it, how can you cultivate so fast? At that moment, a bolt of lightning struck down. Fong Qing Shui held the thunderous bow in her hand, aiming it at him. Coldly, she spoke, want to run? In the next second, she shot the Tianyao demon bow, speeding towards Wang Mo Lin, who was fleeing. Then, the arrow pierced through his shield with great force, causing him pain as he fell hard to the ground, screaming in agony. He was unwilling to accept this, angrily shouting, "Fong Qing Shui, how can you possibly merge the demonic sect of Tianyao demonic sect and the magical talent of immortal Dao into one?" At this point, Wang Mo Lin, infuriated, yelled loudly, "Demon God Blackwater." Immediately, the 7 killings gourd in his hand emitted a strange liquid, surrounding his entire body, then sank deep into the water, disappearing completely, leaving behind only a normal body of water. Qing Shui frowned as she looked down, puzzled. "Demon God, why are you here?" The girl raised her hand in front of her senses, so there are those who are secretly supporting, huh? Suddenly, Qing Shui was startled as she looked behind the large rocks. "Who is it? Come out now." At this moment, Fong Han and Hong Yi slowly appeared. He landed on the ground, casting a scrutinizing glance at her and thought to himself. Fong Qing Shui is the direct disciple of the Yu Hua Gate, and can openly use demonic arts combined with celestial techniques. So At this point, he frowned in confusion, but how did she learn it? Qing Shui immediately rushed in front of Fong Han. "Fong Han, you actually came here to train?" She was annoyed, glaring as she continued. "You should know that this place has become a battleground for celestial and demonic conflicts, extremely dangerous. I just made you an outside sect disciple, and you've already come here to seek death." Qing Shui looked deeply into Fong Han's chest. Strong aura, condensed internal organs, the external physical body has a layer of membrane, divine bravery in the internal organs. In just one short month, you've advanced 2 levels consecutively. How did you train? Answer me. Saying this, Qing Shui immediately used her mental control on Fong Han. A moment later, Fong Han fell into her illusion of ice and thunder. He slowly closed his eyes and then used the primordial spirit astral art he had learned before. He opened his eyes wide, breaking free from Qing Shui's technique. She crossed her arms, scrutinizing her opponent. Blood qi stimulates the brain, eliminates illusions, and suppresses the spirit. This is a skill that only disciples of the inner sect can learn. Did the crane fairy teach you this? If you can eliminate a trace of my illusion, then you are just one step away from spiritual connection. With such a cultivation speed, don't even mention the disciples of the Fong family, even the inner sect disciples of the Yu Hua Gate cannot compare to you. After finishing her sentence, she glanced at Hong Yi standing beside her. Seeing the girl in an awkward position, Fong Han quickly explained, "She is Princess Hong Yi, she is." Qing Shui abruptly interrupted Fong Han, "You can go into Blue Moon City. There are many outside sect disciples of the Yu Hua Gate there." Upon hearing this, Hong Yi lowered her head in disappointment and respectfully said, "Yes, senior sister Fong." However, she frowned in annoyance, glanced sideways, and then stomped her foot, rushing quickly towards Blue Moon City. The two stood there watching Hong Yi's figure disappear. He turned to see Qing Shui's suspicious gaze, causing him to startle. Reaching his hand back, he said, "Senior sister is like this." Suddenly, Qing Shui furrowed her brows tightly and stepped closer to Fong Han. "What did you just call me?" Her question made Fong Han break out in a cold sweat. However, she amusedly brought her hand to her mouth and smiled slyly. "Senior sister, what a delightful title. A mere servant, in such a short time, has managed to break free from the shackles within, truly rare. Your potential is immeasurable. A person with great strength but still bound by the shackles of servitude will achieve nothing. I will remember you well." She looked at his bewildered expression and added, "In the future, I will have the prince adopt you as a foster son, unblocking your status as a servant. If you can cultivate to the magical talent's secret realm, I will marry Qing Wei to you. Just as I have to go do something, you follow me. I am very curious about the reason for your remarkable progress." Upon hearing this, his expression darkened as he pondered. "With her strength, if I cultivate under her watch, I fear the intersecting Yellow Springs map will be exposed, but I cannot refuse." Spiritual energy Yen suddenly appeared above him. "Don't worry, the intersecting Yellow Springs map has completely merged with you. She won't detect the existence of the original body. On the contrary, little guy, are you really willing to take a second-rate lady?" Hearing this, he shyly turned his face away. Taking her as an elder sister sounds acceptable. Qing Shui suddenly turned around, puzzled. What did you just say? Seeing Yen Oldman fleeing, he hurriedly raised his hand and laughed awkwardly. Huh? Oh, I was just curious about what senior sister wants to do and where you are taking me to cultivate. At this moment, Qing Shui waved her finger, and immediately, purple lightning transformed into snakes surrounding her. A moment later, the two were deep inside some crevice. Fong Han curiously looked up at the glowing red eyes above. Are those blood-sucking bats? A second later, a bloodthirsty bat aggressively flew down but was stopped by the shield of the purple lightning snakes, falling to the ground. Qing Shui looked at Fong Han and explained, this place is the world of Deep Abyss, home to countless demons, yaksa, and evil beasts. We will walk to the altar of the demon god. If you fly by quickly, it will be easy to catch the snake hiding in the grass. Upon hearing this, Fong Han suddenly realized, altar demon god? Could it be the place where Wang Mo Lin is hiding? Do you want to eradicate the grass at its roots? Qing Shui turned around and replied, you guessed right. Not only that, the altar demon god is also the secret military stronghold of the demon army. Inside, there is a great Azura commander. Destroying this place will cause the demon army to disband without a fight. This is a very suitable place for cultivation. Danger can appear at any time and anywhere, which will help refine your body and willpower, unlocking your potential. From now on, I will not take action, you go ahead and pave the way. Immediately, Fong Han shot forward from behind and thought to himself, I can't use the martial arts of the Qing sect here. Fong Qing Shui is trying to test me. If that's the case, I'll go half true, half false. Qing Shui behind him kept pondering something. After a while, suddenly, a ferocious deep abyss blood wolf appeared from the crevice. Fong Han closed his eyes, calmly swung his sword at shoulder level, then opened his eyes wide, leaned forward, stepped back with his left foot, and forcefully pushed off the rock wall to gain momentum. Next, he pushed the person and thrust a deadly sword strike into the chin of the deep abyss in front of him. He leaned to one side, using force to pull its skull out from the flesh. Qing Shui calmly glanced over, the immortal fishing cart is a martial art from Wan Gui Immortal Island. Fong Han was delighted to hear this, puffing up his chest, that's right, I learned this move while sparring with Bao Imperial Prince of the Dada Empire. I secretly observed the techniques of force application within it. If there's anything wrong, please enlighten me, senior sister. Qing Shui raised her hand to her chin, thought for a moment, and then replied, this move is quite similar, but there are still some flaws. This technique contains deeper mysteries that are not as simple as they appear. Then, she continuously taught Fong Han a wealth of knowledge. No wonder people say, 3 years of hard training is not as good as 1 hour of guidance from a master. But he thought to himself, what she says is even deeper than Master Bai Hai Chan's words. Every time I hear a sentence, I feel enlightened. Suddenly, snakes sprang out from behind the rock to attack, but they were all cut into pieces by Fong Han's strike. Qing Shui was puzzled and glanced at Fong Han. Everlasting hatred finger method? Did you learn that from Bao Imperial Prince? Upon hearing this, he clasped his hands in front of his chest. That's right, I was defeated the first time I sparred with him, and then I trained hard with Hongyi Princess. The next time we fought, he used this move, and I don't know how well I managed to replicate it. She replied seriously, the martial arts of the everlasting hatred demonic sect require an overwhelming sense of hatred to be executed. The deeper the hatred, the more profound the martial arts. You shouldn't practice it anymore, it can easily provoke the darker sides of your emotions and lead to overdoing it. After hearing this, he felt a chill run down his spine and jumped, okay, I understand. Then the two of them traveled in the DD world for a day and a night. Fong Han fought against blood wolves, blood bears, three-headed chickens, and even encountered demon beings hunting for food. Fong Qing Shui was always behind him, offering guidance. After a while, Fong Han stopped, looking at the flames in front of him. What is that? A team of Fei Tian Azura. It seems we are not far from the altar of the demon god, you should go and take them all out. At that moment, several yaksa in front noticed the two of them and swiftly flew towards them, snarling, haha, there are actually humans. Our men eat, and the women are captured to serve the great commander. Fong Han gritted his teeth in frustration, thinking, the 12 Yaksa are equivalent to experts in the magical talent realm, but fortunately, there's a gap that can be exploited. He then kicked backward, drawing his sword to slash 2 cross-shaped strikes, causing the Yaksa to suffer 2 cuts. Fong Han frowned as he looked behind. At this moment, he was surrounded by the Yaksa. They relentlessly attacked him with weapons, but he managed to dodge all of them. The demons screamed in rage, and that woman too. Where did that woman go? Never mind, let's deal with this man first. Fong Han frowned, angry. He stepped forward quickly, then executed the flying spirit 9 turns technique towards the Yaksa. It became furious, raising its hands behind. Human, do you want to die? Fong Han stomped his foot, gracefully dodging past the demon, then struck it hard. Instantly, Fong Han appeared behind it. Suddenly, only fragments on its body burst out, causing him to frown in astonishment. This is bad, this layer of scales is too hard. Fong Han looked up and saw a pile of Yaksa. They continuously attacked Fong Han, but he dodged them nimbly. At that moment, he glanced behind, turned around, and swung a crescent-shaped sword strike at the demons. The demon holding a weapon was cut in half and stared blankly. What is this? It squinted its eyes and glared at Fong Han. This person must be killed. Saying that, it charged downwards like a madman. Now, Fong Han unleashed his full power. Spirit condensing allows me to see their weaknesses, their weight, speed, and strength. Fong Han closed his eyes and could still dodge the attacks effortlessly. Staying rooted in place, he evaded blows without shifting an inch. At that moment, he gently opened his eyes and then executed the physical body 9-fold spiritual connection realm. He thrust a sword into the Yaksa's chest, then lightly tore apart the body of a sturdy demon. Afterward, Fong Han slightly lifted his foot, causing the demons to tremble in fear. Instantly, Fong Han moved at lightning speed, leaving no demon unscathed. With just one move, the demons were torn apart like paper. Suddenly, Fong Han's sword cracked and broke in 2. Fong Han also returned to his original state. At that moment, Qing Shui unexpectedly appeared. You managed to kill 12 Yaksa while entering the spiritual connection realm during a fierce battle. Fong Han held the broken sword in front of him. Senior sister, although I have advanced in the realm, this magic sword has broken. I have no weapon. If I encounter Yaksa on the way. Qing Shui walked closer and raised her hand to restore the sword. The shattered pieces flowed out, reassembling themselves, and then returned to a complete sword, without a single blemish. Fong Han gaped at the sword before him. Qing Shui gently explained, I have reforged your broken sword. On it, I engraved the magical talent of the purple lightning Yin Thunder Blade. As long as it strikes the enemy, the purple lightning will immediately erupt along with the sword's energy, so there's no need to worry about Fei Tianajura. Saying this, she thought to herself, Fong Han, I must recruit you under my banner. After pondering for a moment, she spoke up, all right, you continue ahead to clear the path, but the closer we get to the altar, the more Yaksa there will be. Although with your magic sword assistance, you must remember that the spiritual connection realm is still nothing. Only when you enter the magical talent's secret realm. Qing Shui coldly stepped forward, adding, I still say the same thing, if you enter the magical talent's secret realm, I will marry Qing Wei to you. Fong Han followed behind, feeling annoyed and thinking, again, why must they marry Fong Qing Wei to me? Why can't it be the elder sister? My audacity is indeed growing day by day. Suddenly, at this moment, the voice of the spiritual energy Yen echoed in his mind, so is that considered audacity? Sooner or later, you will become the greatest demon emperor, is that just a bit of potential? Your gaze is quite good, isn't it? A woman as formidable as Fong Qing Shui has hopes of stepping into the longevity secret realm in the future, becoming an immortal Dao Supreme. If you can make her marry you, she will become your favored wife. Hee hee. Fong Han irritably shut his eyes tightly, silently cursing, you be quiet. Right now, I only care about cultivation, quickly entering the magical talent's secret realm. Yen Oldman folded his arms, snorting, I came to remind you that there is danger ahead. With the aura of the demon god, you should be careful to take it yourself. This woman may not necessarily save you. Suddenly, the footsteps came to a slight stop. In the distance, a dark figure of a Yaksa appeared ahead. At this moment, on the monument stood Wang Mo Lin, while the little demon girl Chun who beside her spoke softly, "Who is coming?" She then glanced forward, "Hurry up and clear them out." Qing Shui and purple lightning transformed into a snake appeared in the sky. "Fong Han, no need to hide anymore. The great demon king has already detected us." Hearing this, Fong Han also appeared before the demons. "Senior sister, I will deal with them," he said seriously, raising an eyebrow to look ahead. "Leave the remaining minions to me." From a distance, Wang Mo Lin held the 7 killings gourd and released the 7 kills heavenly wolf smoke. He threw a furious glance forward. "Fong Qing Shui, how dare you enter the altar of the demon god of DD all by yourself? Who gave you the courage to do that? Do you really think you can destroy the altar of the demon god all on your own?" Saying this, he madly attacked with the 7 kills heavenly wolf smoke, charging towards Qing Shui. She gently raised her hand forward, then created 2 diagonal lines of lightning, breaking his attack. Qing Shui slightly smirked, smiling triumphantly. "Don't mention the petty altar demon god. In the future, I will personally go to the demon god's sect to compete with the demon god." Saying this, she unleashed a tremendous amount of lightning. "Let's see how the great demon magical talent performs." Immediately after, Qing Shui launched a rapid strike towards the demon god. On this side, Fong Han was swinging his sword defensively, but then he stomped his foot hard on the ground and thrust a strike into the demon's chest. At that moment, the sword was erupting with Qing Shui's purple lightning, and suddenly the spiritual energy on the sword shifted to Yan's. Seeing this, Fong Han frowned and muttered, "Is the intersecting Yellow Springs map absorbing? Could it be Yan?" Just then, Yan's spiritual energy voice echoed in his head, "I have devoured the Heaven Chicken Extreme Yang rope and have now regained some strength. Each Yaksa you kill, I can absorb their blood essence spirit and release it into the Yellow Springs River." The demon sect's magic is all about growing by plundering, devouring souls, which can increase one's own power. But the lingering spiritual imprint will seep into the mind, causing mental disorder and overdoing it. The blood transformation technique of the Yellow Springs sect relies on the aid of the holy water from Yellow Springs to cleanse other spiritual impurities. It helps you refine the souls of the beings you have killed into pure blood pills, strengthening your body and nourishing your blood chi. Drinking it for less than a month, you can step into the divine transformation realm. Cultivating like this is both fast and safe. So, isn't it very tempting? Ha ha ha, come on, step into the evil Tao. At this moment, Fong Han's face darkened, surrounded by demon energy. Suddenly, a slash appeared, and Fong Han tore apart the cold air around him. Regardless of immortal Tao or evil Tao, surviving comes first. From the group of demons, an Asura slowly stepped forward. "You all step back and protect the altar." This one approached Fong Han step by step. "Mortal, what is your name?" Hearing this, Fong Han pondered, what does he mean? Does he want to challenge me to a duel? The strength of this Asura is comparable to that of the core disciples of the Yu Hua Gate. Having thought it through, he calmly replied, "I am Fong Han, the disciple outside the sect of Yu Hua Gate. If I cultivate to the 10th level of divine transformation with 8 horsepower, I might be able to confront him a little. But now that I've run into him, death is certain." Spiritual energy Yan also spoke up, "Not necessarily. I see that this Asura doesn't want to kill you, and he also doesn't want you to massacre the demon god army, so it would be better for him to act early." Fong Han confidently replied to him in his heart, "He just wants to capture me alive to threaten Fong Qing Shui. What's so hard to understand about that? What does he think I am to Fong Qing Shui?" At this point, Yan Oldman suddenly grinned broadly, "If he doesn't kill you, then he brings us many opportunities." At that moment, the Asura raised his hand in front of Fong Han, "Put down the sword in your hand, follow me, and I won't kill you." "What if I don't put it down?" He looked toward the demon god surrounded by Qing Shui's purple lightning and added, "Wait until senior sister destroys the demon god altar and kills the disciples of the demon sect, then you will definitely die too." Upon hearing this, the Asura smirked, "Is that so? Then we'll see who dies first." In an instant, the Asura extended his hand forward and unleashed a powerful technique. But he quickly blocked with his sword. After a while of defending, his wrist became bruised and started to tremble. Then, unable to withstand it any longer, he flew back and slammed against the wall behind. Fong Han hurriedly leaned forward, raising his hand to wipe his mouth. The Azura slowly stepped closer. Mortal, your strength is too weak. I do not wish to kill you, just drop your sword. Fong Han continuously scanned for a chance to counterattack. Meanwhile, the 7 killings gourd of Wang Mo Lin was already in the hands of Qing Shui. She looked at him with disdain. Without the 7 killings gourd, what else can you do? Saying that, Qing Shui raised her hand and delivered a finishing blow to the demon god. Immediately, cracks appeared on the stone statue, which then completely shattered, awakening the demon god inside. He cast a deathly gaze towards Qing Shui, causing her to be startled and look back in shock. Seeing this, the Azura furrowed his brows in anger. The demon god has manifested, we cannot delay any longer. After saying that, he quickly launched an attack, the strike rushing forward. Suddenly, his attack was neutralized by the explosive force of Fong Han, causing him to be frightened and leap back defensively. At that moment, the voice of spiritual energy Yen echoed in Fong Han's mind. The manifestation of the demon god is a momentous event. Qing Shui has no time to pay attention to you. This is the perfect opportunity. Immediately, the spiritual energy granted Fong Han access to the power of the Yellow Spring's true essence. Sensing the vast, overwhelming force surging before him, the Azura widened his eyes in shock, shouting. Magic power. This law force, you are. Before he could finish his words, Fong Han slashed fiercely, then pulled his left hand back and unleashed the Yellow Spring's earth net. Countless strands shot out like rockets, binding the Azura tightly and shattering his resistance. The Azura, struggling helplessly, was stunned at the sight of Fong Han's technique. The Yellow Spring's earth net. Who in the world are you? Without wasting even a heartbeat, Fong Han darted forward, thrusting his hand toward the Azura's face. Bound and unable to move, the fiend could only watch in horror as, a moment later, one of his eyes was pierced through. The orb shattered into fragments, blood gushing out like a torrential rain. His body was ripped apart piece by piece, both eyes bursting into a crimson spray that painted the air. As the oppressive law force around him slowly faded, Fong Han lowered his head, his breath trembling. I actually killed an Azura. Thinking for a moment, he immediately focused his gaze on his 2 palms, pondering, the feeling of having magical power is truly miraculous. At this moment, the spiritual energy Yen irritably spoke up, this is the magical power of the main body, not yours. Your physical body still cannot cooperate. Wait until you cultivate to the magical talent's secret realm, using the laws will become even more wondrous. Suddenly, Fong Han was startled, turning to look into the distance where an overwhelming demon energy was emanating. Qing Shui was desperately spinning around, defending against the swirling demon energy surrounding her. Suddenly, a voice rang out, the disciple of Yu Hua Gate is very brave, daring to damage my holy statue. A man surrounded by dense demon energy stepped forward. This man was the master of the demon god sect's avatar, one of the 5 great demons. At this moment, Qing Shui also broke free from the assault and approached, demon god, the 7 killings gourd you crafted has fallen into my hands. Do you really want to take action yourself to reclaim the magic weapon from a junior? Hearing this, the demon god smirked slightly. A moment later, he opened his mouth, causing strong vibrations, just a treasure, I certainly do not regard it highly. But a tiny disciple of immortal Tao like you dares to come and destroy my altar. Prevent the demon army. At this point, the ground could no longer withstand it and cracked in small lines. Around the demon god, a powerful aura was released, causing the ground to tremble and crack in large fissures. Today, if I let you leave here peacefully, what face would I have left? Upon saying this, he emitted an extremely high-frequency sound wave that surrounded him, causing Fong Han to feel pain upon hearing it, raising his hands to hold his head. Qing Shui placed her hand on her chest and gently closed her eyes. Immediately, her purple lightning turning into snakes suddenly grew horns and 2 dragon legs. Qing Shui glared at her opponent, since it has come to this, let me wipe the floor with your face, you dog of a demon. The demon god stared in shock at the scene before him, the dual serpents transforming into dragons. Then, he bared his teeth and smiled with delight, your cultivation has reached this realm. No wonder the little guy Ng Tianjing has ignored even Ng Tianyao for your sake. He risked everything to come to the external heaven demon illusion to cultivate, not even caring for his own life. This demon god excitedly raised his hand in front of him, launching an attack toward his opponent. To be fair, you are indeed an outstanding person among the immortal Tao disciples. Take one of my heavenly demon's ultimate moves. At this moment, Fong Han was staggering on the ground from the impact of the sound wave. Then, he widened his eyes and thought to himself, Ing Tianyao must be the Tianyao great emperor of the demon sect. His son, the demon who appeared in Ing Tianjing, once discussed with Fong Qing Shui, right? On Qing Shui's side, she was continuously counterattacking the demon god. Celestial post-heaven, one strike and one poke. The serpent's fur ignites the sixth battle's essence, the great reversal of the heavens reveals the sixth thief's intention, aiming for severe injury. Lightning bolts interconnected to unleash a powerful strike. After the last move, Fong Han was extremely surprised to see Qing Shui seriously injured. The demon god in the altar is just a clone, yet Fong Qing Shui is injured to this extent. She turned back, grabbed Fong Han's arm, and looked at him. I will temporarily tear apart the demon's veil, now I will take you away. If we wait any longer, it will be too late. Finishing her words, Qing Shui hurriedly pulled Fong Han's hand and ran forward. He frowned tightly, looking at Qing Shui without saying a word. Suddenly, her foot stopped in place. Qing Shui turned back to look at Fong Han, puzzled. Where did that Azura go? Did you kill it? Seeing Fong Han flustered and sweating, Qing Shui frowned in confusion. Saying that, she waved her hand, directly tearing apart Fong Han's clothes. What do you have on you? Let me see. Fong Han panicked and broke into a cold sweat. Senior sister, I don't have any magic weapons on me. It was because the altar suddenly changed. I took the chance while Azura was caught off guard and stabbed the magic sword into its eye. I don't know why, but it seemed like it only wanted to capture me alive, so it gave me the opportunity. Qing Shui stood there for a moment, staring intently at Fong Han's six-pack abs. Suddenly, she became shy, bit her lip, and glanced away. A moment later, Qing Shui lowered her head, clearing her throat. Then she thought to herself, why do I feel so flushed? Is it because I misunderstood him? At that moment, a heavenly demon descended in front of them, wielding a crescent moon to block their path. Qing Shui quickly reached back and pushed Fong Han away. Following that, a heavenly intent like a blade surrounded her body, severely wounding her and causing her to spit out a mouthful of blood. Now, Qing Shui closed her eyes, electricity crackling from her chest. The girl, annoyed, slightly opened her mouth and huffed. Immediately, Qing Shui widened her eyes. Following that, she unleashed a technique called 10,000 Phenomena of the Forest, creating an explosion in the air that shattered her opponent's attack. Seizing the opportunity, Qing Shui hurriedly grabbed Fong Han's hand and pulled him away. The two ran quickly forward, escaping from the demon energy of the demon god. At that moment, at the side of the monument deep within the crevice, the demon god stomped his foot on the ground. What a great move, 10,000 Phenomena of the Forest, the demonic technique of the Tianyao demonic sect. I didn't expect her to use it so masterfully. Wang Yamo Lin, confused, raised his hand, my lord. Aren't you going to personally hunt them down with my 7 killings gourd? The demon god pondered for a moment, raising his hand to his chin, then spoke, with my status, it wouldn't be appropriate to chase after a junior. My true body suppressing the Jiu-In heaven demon doesn't exert much power anyway, so let her be. Saying that, he displayed a delighted expression. She is as talented as Ing Tianyao in her youth, but having been struck by my great tree, it remains to be seen if she has the magical powers to escape this fate. Suddenly, a fox tail appeared, swaying back and forth without pause. Demoness Chun who looked up with joy and reverence, her voice trembling with excitement. Congratulations, Demon God Lord, for sealing the Jiu-In heaven demon. That heaven demon is among the most powerful outer realm fiends of the starry void. If you can refine it, great demon lord, you will take yet another step closer on the path to ascension. The demon god gently reached out, patting her head as she bowed ecstatically at his feet. His body began to glow, radiance enveloping his form before slowly fading into nothingness. Tenfold physical body. Tenfold magical talent. Tenfold longevity. The road of cultivation stretches endlessly ahead. At that moment, Mo Lin rushed forward in fury, shouting. Demon God Lord, are you just going to leave like this? His face darkened, eyes flashing coldly as he spun on his heel. Damn it, chase them down. Fong Qing Shui has already been struck by the grand hand seal of the heavenly demon. No matter how powerful she is, her flame will eventually burn out. By the time dawn broke the next day, across a desolate stretch of barren land, a bolt of lightning crashed down from the heavens, striking a massive stone before them. Standing behind Qing Shui, Fong Han called out anxiously. Did we escape from DD? But where is this place? Qing Shui's face was pale, her voice firm but laced with strain. Stay here. I was struck by the grand hand seal of the heavenly demon, my law force is scattered and unstable. As her words fell, Qing Shui turned her gaze back toward Fong Han. I didn't expect that such a small clone of the longevity secret realm could be so formidable. She raised her hand to wipe her mouth, smiling satisfied, but it's good, finally, I can gauge the strength of the longevity secret realm among the true disciples of Yu Hua Gate. The only one who has sparred with an expert from the longevity secret realm is probably just me, right? Fong Han furrowed his brow in confusion as he looked at her, thinking, this woman unexpectedly thinks like this, she is indeed unusual. Suddenly, he saw Qing Shui slumped on the ground, and he worriedly approached, Senior sister, are you seriously injured? No need to worry, I can circulate my power and refine the demon energy of the grand hand seal heavenly demon. After saying that, Qing Shui looked up at Fong Han, the purple lightning yin thunder blade can refine all demon energy, but it needs some time. Fong Han, help me with the protection. At this moment, she threw the 7 killings gourd towards Fong Han. He stared at the gourd in his hand, it's really heavy, it feels like it weighs 12 pounds. Qing Shui then spoke up, the blood essence spirit inside this 7 killings gourd has been removed by me, so now you should drop some blood to refine it. That little demon leader Wang Mo Lin has concocted a type of heavenly wolf that is truly a waste of heaven's resources. The most powerful aspect of this gourd is the 7 killing sword formation inside it. Just by placing 7 fly swords with spiritual energy levels into the gourd, the 7 killing sword formation can be arranged. It can slay gods when encountering them and cut down demons when faced with them, extremely sharp. However, the 7 fly swords are hard to find, and evil Dao does not understand sword chi, which prevents the sword formation inside from unleashing its full power. Later, when you enter the inner sect, you can slowly collect the 7 fly swords. Upon hearing this, Fong Han was startled and thought, 7 killing sword formation? Just when I have 7 fly swords. At this moment, Qing Shui gently closed her eyes, sat cross-legged, and began to channel her magical power. A second later, purple lightning turned into snakes surrounding Qing Shui's body. Suddenly, a bolt of azure lightning struck down from the high sky. Jin Shirtai appeared after that strike, shouting loudly, Fong Qing Shui, I finally found you. He looked down at the cliff, saying, you, hand over the 7 killings gourd. Fong Han raised an eyebrow, chuckled, and thought, you think it's that easy? That's quite unreasonable. He held the 7 killings gourd in his hand and released the 7 kills heavenly wolf smoke. The gourd released a thick smoke of 7 kills heavenly wolf around Fong Han's body. He was enraged and shouted, Junior, you dare to defy orders. Very well, today I will kill you, Junior. Immediately, he struck with his right hand, unleashing the jade flame 7 cultivate on downwards. Do you think you can resist an expert from the magical talent's secret realm just with one treasure? His face darkened as he widened his eyes and continued, you are too naive. At that moment, his attack struck fiercely down at his opponent but was blocked by the 7 kills heavenly wolf smoke in front of Fong Han. Jin Shirtai, Fong's senior sister and you are both disciples of Yu Hua Gate, why are you acting so ruthlessly? If you cease your fratricidal actions, I will consider this matter as if it never happened. Otherwise, I will spread the word so that everyone at Yu Hua Gate knows you have killed your fellow disciples. He was now exhausted, drenched in sweat, and continued, the rules of Yu Hua Gate state that true disciples must not slaughter each other, they can only compete on the Tianxing platform to determine the victor. Your betrayal of the rules is equivalent to betraying the sect. Hearing this, he displayed arrogance. What does a small outside sect disciple know about the rules? Indeed, it is a piece of inferior trash. Saying that, he raised his hand in front, clenched his jaw tightly, and threatened, I am too lazy to waste words with you. Hand over this heavenly wolf, or I will chop you into 1,000 pieces. Losing patience, he immediately unleashed the true Qi capture technique. After that, a gigantic hand tightened around Fong Han's body, making him feel as if he were being burned, constantly groaning. Fong Han's face was drenched in sweat, thinking to himself, "It's too hot, it feels like my blood is about to evaporate." Then, he glanced over at Qing Shui, who was sitting there recovering. Fong Han's eyes grew heavy, slowly closing, thinking, "I cannot die." Suddenly, a streak of light appeared in his mind along with a voice, "Be careful, he is refining your blood essence spirit." Hearing this, Fong Han slowly opened his eyes. The voice continued, "You must maintain your consciousness to avoid losing the 7 killings gourd. Otherwise, if your mind falls into confusion, this 7 killings gourd will fall into his hands." Fong Han stared blankly at the magical power surrounding him. "Yan, where did you go just now? Why did you disappear?" "I also feel cooler now, the burning sensation has vanished." Now, the spiritual energy of Yan also emerged from behind. "Earlier, I used a small trick to hide myself. Look at yourself. The Yellow Springs map is now inseparable from you. Once you cultivate to the longevity secret realm, you can truly integrate the Yellow Springs map into your blood. But your magical power is still lower than that of the sect master of Yu Hua Gate. Right now, you still lack a bit of firepower, otherwise, you wouldn't be corroded by the fire poison, losing your protection." Fong Han was deeply enraged in his mind. "Jin Shirtai, I want to place 7 fly swords into the 7 killings gourd and activate the 7 killings sword formation inside." At that moment, a hand gently rested on his shoulder. "That would not be appropriate." Upon hearing this, Fong Han turned to Yan in confusion. "Huh? Why not? The 7 killings gourd is incredibly mysterious. If you place the 7 fly swords inside, I'm afraid you won't be able to take them out again. What if Fong Qing Shui takes the gourd and sees the 7 fly swords inside? How will you explain that?" Years ago, the demon god also considered cultivating a large number of these, but failed. Otherwise, the demon god sect would have. Hearing this, he excitedly put his hand on his chin and imagined. "A large quantity in total, if this gourd can be cultivated in large numbers, everyone can have one. Wouldn't that make the world invincible?" Yan the old man helplessly kicked him on the head. "What are you thinking? Just carefully observe the miraculous effects of this gourd." Saying that, Yan crossed his arms seriously. Otherwise, relying solely on the heavenly wolf, that guy Wang Mo Lin couldn't hold back Fong Qing Shui for long before. At this moment, Fong Han placed the gourd on his forehead and gently closed his eyes. After a while, he was deep inside the 7 killings gourd. Fong Han glanced around for a moment and spoke. "Wang Mo Lin doesn't even have a sword or a flying sword. Is it possible that evil Dao is only good at stealing and not skilled in refining qi?" On this side, Yan the old man was gleeful, swaying back and forth in front of the poisonous insects. Pheasant gold corn skill, 9-clawed snake, beautiful witch wind, blood pond poison pattern, steel-backed beetle, green silkworm, illusionary demon butterfly, all of them are ancient poisons. Good, these poisonous insects have absorbed the evil energy of the gourd, making them extremely fierce, unafraid of water or fire. Just one bite, and even if he is a magical talent in the secret realm, he will succumb to the poison and die. Saying that, he excitedly pointed ahead. "Fong Han, release these poisonous insects outside. The Jade Flame 7's cultivation of Jin Shirtai has not been perfected yet, so it can't burn them to death. Directly release the leader of the blood pond poison pattern." Upon hearing this, Fong Han raised both hands, controlling the poisonous insects to surround him. Just a moment later, the blood pond poison pattern flew quickly outside. Spiritual energy Yan placed his hands on his hips and burst into laughter. It is said that the blood pond poison pattern can only grow in the blood pool of the blood shadow sect, the most mysterious of the evil Dao. Once it bites a person, the blood from the entire body is immediately drained away. Suddenly, he lowered his head, appearing mysterious. This is not the scariest part, the scariest part is. Fong Han curiously turned around. What is it? At that moment, outside, the poisonous insects flew into the path of Jin Shirtai. He glared forward with resentment. Blood pond poison pattern. There's actually a blood pond poison pattern in the 7 killings gourd. Just after that, he caused a huge explosion to block the poisonous insects. Due to the impact of the explosion, Jin Shirtai was knocked to the ground. He gritted his teeth in anger. In the next moment, the man spun in mid-air and landed. Then, in anger, he shot up into the sky. Fong Han looked down from above and shouted, "Jin Shirtai, if you have any more tricks up your sleeve, go ahead and unleash them all." After saying this, he unleashed a series of ferocious blood pond poison patterns. "Today, you won't be able to kill me. Once Qing Shue's senior sister eliminates the demon energy, it will be your end. As a direct disciple of Yu Hua Gate, I will lose one less person." He glared, furious and about to say something, when suddenly a strange source of magical energy appeared high in the sky. A blond man approached Jin Shirtai and interrupted, "Jin Jr. brother, step aside, let me handle this." Then he stepped forward and spoke, "I am the direct disciple of Stone Dragon Peak, Shilong Zi. What is your name?" Fong Han stared ahead, placing his hand on his chest, "I am Fong Han, an outside sect disciple." At that moment, the spiritual energy Yen also spoke in his mind, "This person is much more formidable than Jin Shirtai, do not act rashly. He cultivates the mystic gold sword Qi, a type of magical talent as ferocious as the heaven-cold profound serene force. If you don't take action, then that's fine, but once you do, someone will definitely die." Hearing this, Fong Han pondered. Mystic gold sword Qi, purple lightning yin thunder blade, jade flame 7 cultivate on, heaven-cold profound serene force are all 8 great magical talents of the Yu Hua Gate. Then, the atmosphere fell into silence. At this moment, the cold voice of Long Zi broke the silence, "Step aside." Fong Han immediately raised his arm forcefully to shoulder level. "I don't understand why your senior brother wants to kill Fong's senior sister. Is it possible that our Yu Hua Gate is not an immortal Dao sect but a demon sect that kills each other? Although I am just an outside sect disciple, I also know the rules." However, he frowned angrily at the opponent. The sect master of our Yu Hua Gate, the immortal Dao Supreme, can see through everything. You act recklessly, and the elder certainly has calculated this. Upon hearing this, Long Zi showed his displeasure. "I did not come to kill Fong Jr.'s sister. I only want to retrieve something from her, to be handed over to the elder sect. This item is of great importance, it is the key to the victory or defeat between the two paths of immortals and demons. Although you hold the 7 killings gourd, you are still not my match." He cast his gaze towards Heavenly Wolf and Poisonous Insect, then continued, "But I also do not wish to harm you. Jin Jr. brother has a bit of a hot temper, if you want." He put on a friendly face, raising his hand in a gesture, "I will give you a fly sword as compensation, what do you think?" His words startled Shirtai behind him. However, Fong Han interrupted him, saying, "Thank you for your kind offer, senior brother, but I still believe we should wait for Qing Shue's senior sister to wake up before discussing everything further." He was losing his patience, continuously unleashing his power, thinking to himself, "In fact, I'm not very interested in what Fong Jr.'s sister has in her hands. The reason I haven't fought with you is that I want to meet someone else beside Fong Jr.'s sister." At this point, he unleashed his power wildly, causing Fong Han to feel a headache. Long Zi raised his hand horizontally, thinking, "In Tianjing, do you really think that my mystic gold sword Qi cannot break through Fong Jr.'s sister's purple lightning magical talent? Is it possible that a once-in-a-thousand-year talent in the demon sect is just someone who likes to hide their true abilities? If that's the case, then I will take action." Suddenly, a streak appeared, running along the sky. A pair of light feet came to a stop. At that moment, a cold man looked ahead and spoke. "Shilong Zi, if you dare to lay a finger on her, I will make you suffer for eternity. Moreover, you will pay with an arm for the words you just spoke." This man was the son of the Tianxian Demon Emperor, Devil Commander in Tianjing. Fong Han glanced at the man, pondering. Is this really Devil Commander in Tianjing? Why does he look like an immortal? Mo Lin, standing behind Long Zi, angrily shouted. "In Tianjing, this is an internal matter of Yu Hua Gate. Your hand is reaching too far." In Tianjing shot them an annoyed look. "Whoever touches Qing Shui is touching me, and even a 9 heavens immortal must die." Saying this, he threw down a challenge to the two of them. "Shilong Zi, you go first. After defeating you, I'll deal with the little guy behind you." Or you can kneel down and beg for mercy, cut off an arm, and I will let you go. Hearing these words, Long Zi's face darkened. Such arrogance, you are a once-in-a-thousand-years talent of evil Tao. What we like to do the most is to crush geniuses in their infancy. How refreshing that would be. After finishing his words, he raised his hand and launched an attack towards his opponent. However, Ying Tianjing blocked the strike with just one finger. Instantly, the celestial white bone unleashed by this person completely absorbed the attack. The spiritual energy yen within Fong Han was also astonished. That is the celestial white bone magical talent. At this moment, Long Zi smirked, immediately disappearing from his spot. In an instant, Long Zi appeared behind Ying Tianjing, unleashing a technique of effortless, free-spirited instant kill, causing the surrounding air to vibrate violently. The sword chi of this technique is a high-level fusion of the flow of celestial and earthly energy and spirit. The sword chi moves instantaneously, a god-slaying, demon-slaying technique, unmatched in speed, several times faster than the speed of sound, even dozens or hundreds of times, cutting through everything. During the great battle between the Immortals and demons years ago, sect master Yu Hua Gate used this technique to kill countless elite members of the demon sect. Even after being hit with a powerful blow, Ying Tianjing was unscathed and provocatively said, "You have mastered the instant kill great technique, no wonder you have the confidence to challenge me, but you still haven't perfected it." Compared to sect master Yu Hua, the sect is still far behind. At this moment, the white bone relic of Ying Tianjing continuously absorbed the attacks from Long Zi, leaving him pale and utterly terrified. Immediately, he shot away from Ying Tianjing. He gestured sideways, calling out to Mo Lin, "Let's go." Then, Long Zi and Wang Mo Lin soared high into the sky to escape. Ying Tianjing glanced at the two of them above and said, "It's a pity, today I will take one of your arms, it seems that it will be difficult for you to advance any further in the future." Saying that, he used celestial white bone, holding the sword and thrusting it upward. In an instant, he severed the two arms of Long Zi and Mo Lin. Once finished, Ying Tianjing retracted the celestial white bone and slowly walked towards Fong Han. He paused, turned to look at Fong Han, "Right, release the heavenly wolf, with me here, Qing Shui will be safe." Ying Tianjing raised both hands, and 7 swords appeared behind him. "Although you haven't reached magical talent yet, seeing your efforts to protect Qing Shui, I will grant you 7 flying swords." At this moment, Fong Han slowly opened his mouth, interjecting, "Wait a minute." Fong Han raised his hand and decisively continued. "I am a disciple of the immortal Tao, and you are from the evil Tao. I do not need your flying sword. Once I successfully cultivate, I will naturally not lack spiritual energy. Fong Han, I do not want to owe anyone a favor, nor do I need your rewards." Upon hearing this, Ying Tianjing glared in displeasure, "Do you dare to speak to me like that?" Suddenly, a voice interrupted him, "Well said, Fong Han, I indeed did not misjudge you." Qing Shui and Purple Lightning, turning into a snake, appeared from behind Fong Han. People from the Fong family truly do not need any charity. She raised her hand forward and added, "Even the son of the Tian Xian demon emperor dares to confront, this is what a member of the Fong family is like. Compared to my junior disciples, you are much stronger than them." Ying Tianjing stepped closer, staring intently at her, "Qing Shui, you still have that temperament, daring to take action against even the demon god. You must know that even my father has to be cautious around him. If something unfortunate happens to you..." Qing Shui irritably turned her back, "You and I do not owe each other anything. Years ago, we met in North Yang. Faced with the loan from Tui Ko Heaven Demon, I had no choice but to exchange the technique of the immortal demon integration. This is a mutually beneficial arrangement." At this point, Qing Shui's expression turned cold, and she continued, "Although you helped me earlier, you should know that his teleportation technique cannot break through my purple lightning turning into snake. Even if you hadn't come, I wouldn't have suffered any losses. The two paths of immortal and demon are like water and fire. Now that the great war between immortals and demons has erupted again, it's best for you and me not to continue entangling ourselves." Ying Tianjing, upon hearing this, looked extremely disappointed. "So what? I don't care about the great war between immortals and demons, I also don't want to distinguish between what is called evil Tao and immortal Tao. All are cultivators in this world, all seeking longevity and transcendence, what's wrong with that?" He sadly cast a glance downward. As long as you're fine, that's good. I feel at ease now. I'm leaving. Saying this, he turned around and shot Fong Han a cold glance. Fong Han, I remember you. Being stubborn is good, but being weak and stubborn can lead to disaster. After that, he soared high into the sky. A moment later, he shouted down below. Devil Commander, I have never had anyone dare to oppose me in my work. Whoever dares to go against my wishes will face dire consequences. Today, out of respect for Qing Shui, I will spare you, but there will be no such mercy next time. Seeing Fong Han's anger, Qing Shui quickly raised her hand to stop him. Let it go, Devil Commander has his own dignity. Right now, your strength is too weak, arguing with him is not a wise choice. If he wants to kill you, I cannot stop it. Wait until you have powerful strength, then he can say whatever he wants. Hearing this, Fong Han calmed down. Then, he held up the 7 killings gourd and said, by the way, senior sister, this treasure is not an ordinary item, and I would like to return it now. Qing Shui raised her hand in refusal. It's not necessary, I originally did not intend to give you this gourd, but since you protected me, your bravery deserves my commendation. Take it for now, use it to overcome the most difficult physical body realm, and compete for a position at the Yu Hua Gate. As she spoke, a strange object appeared in Fong Qing Shui's hand. You have killed Azura, but without evidence, take this bone thorn to the inner court of the Yu Hua Gate and present it to the examination officials. They will give you the opportunity to participate in the examination. With that, she threw the bone thorn to Fong Han. You have become a disciple of the inside sect, and the work is within reach. At that time, they will no longer be able to harm you. Fong Han looked up in astonishment, a disciple of the inside sect. He tucked the bone thorn behind him and turned to look at Qing Shui. What about senior sister? Will she return too? Jin Shirtai and Shilong Zi have had an arm chopped off, they will definitely retaliate against you. Qing Shui raised her hand, summoning purple lightning to transform into a snake. I return to report this matter clearly, as well as the issue regarding the demon god. Let's go. Ride it, and I will take you back to Yu Hua Gate. After a few hours, at the Yu Hua Gate Inner Immortals Institute, Fong Han had also been set down on the ground. He shook his head, looking around and pondering, this Inner Immortals Institute exudes an ancient and mysterious aura. After thinking for a moment, as Fong Han began to walk, a voice suddenly called out, stop right there. A beautiful girl appeared from behind, approaching him. What are you doing? Don't you know that outside sect disciples are not allowed to enter the Inner Immortals Institute without permission? Upon hearing this, Fong Han raised his hand to explain, I have completed the sect mission and come to the Inner Immortals Institute to obtain qualifications for the examination. She was suspicious, her eyes fixed on Fong Han. Do you have anything to prove? He stepped closer and took out the bone thorn that Qing Shui had given him. Upon seeing this, she was astonished and shouted loudly, Azura bone thorn. You actually killed an Azura? Saying this, she reached out, took the bone thorn, and examined it closely. This action startled Fong Han, who thought to himself, the Azura bone thorn weighs nearly 100 pounds, even an expert in the divine transformation realm would find it strenuous to wield with one hand, yet she can handle it so effortlessly. He focused his gaze on her, thinking, her strength must be many times greater than mine. Could she be an expert on the mountain river list? At this moment, she held the bone thorn out in front of her. Indeed, it is the Azura bone thorn. You must follow me. A while later, in a certain location within the Inner Immortals Institute, there was a long line of people entering a building. Inside, everyone was very orderly and quiet, causing no disturbance. The man held a token in his hand and spoke, did you kill the Fei Tian Azura? Truly a rare talent. Take this token and prepare to return. 3 days later, come to the Heavenly Void Institute and enter the Heaven Demon battlefield. Receiving the assessment. A man in line whispered, that's terrifying. In the Limitless Seas Desert, we only managed to kill 36 Yaksa to barely complete the mission. I really don't dare to touch the Fei Tian Azura. The man next to him joined the conversation, that's right, at least 100 disciples from outside the sect will lose their lives this time. I personally saw the tragic scene of Xing Jr. brother being eaten alive by the Fei Tian Azura, losing an arm. One of the group also chimed in, the royal family along with Imo's senior sister and Yuan's senior brother fell into an ambush by Hongfen Prince, and the entire army was wiped out, alarming even the elders. It was Hua's senior brother who managed to save one of them. Fong Han, standing in line from afar, was surprised to hear this, thinking to himself, the Bao Imperial Princes group is still alive, so this probably won't implicate me. At that moment, a pair of women's legs appeared in the crowd, and when everyone saw the girl, they couldn't help but cheer. It's Long's senior sister. Hello, Long's senior sister. She walked step by step to the man, whispering something. Immediately, he was extremely surprised, slamming the table and standing up. What? A disciple actually killed an Asura? From the distance, Fong Han slowly walked forward, pushing his way through the crowd. When he finally stopped, he lifted the bone thorn in his hand, eyes deep in thought. Just killing a single Asura is enough to shock them like this. If I were to take out the corpse of the Hongfen Prince, I can't even imagine what kind of expressions they'd make. The man before him let out a long sigh, furrowing his brows as he looked forward. Whether this Asura bone thorn truly belongs to you or not, you did slay it, with the help of others, perhaps, but offering up this bone thorn is still considered a great merit. With a dismissive wave of his hand, he continued. Take this jade token. 3 days from now, go to the Heavenly Void Institute and step into the Heaven Demon battlefield to undergo the trial. If you pass, you will be admitted as an inside sect disciple. At that moment, another disciple stepped forward, presenting a token and 2 jade bottles before Fong Han. The man spoke again, his tone even. Furthermore, according to the sect's established rules, if a disciple kills an Asura, the rewards are 1 essence pill and 1 fasting pill. Seeing this, Fong Han cupped his hands respectfully, then extended them to accept the rewards. He tucked them carefully into the depths of his robe before stepping closer to the young woman. Thank you, Senior Sister Long, for showing the way. She stared straight ahead. There's no need to thank me. If you can kill Asura, it must not be difficult for you to pass the assessment. In the future, if your name appears on the Mountain River list, we might be competitors then. Saying this, she looked at Fong Han with interest. I will keep an eye on you. The scene shifted to a certain room, where Fong Han raised his hand and quickly flipped through the pages of a book, constantly searching for the Heaven Demon battlefield. The Heaven Demon battlefield is a passage opened by the sect master of the Yu Hua Gate using supreme magical talent, connecting to the outer realm of the sky. In the Heaven Demon battlefield, countless invisible heaven demons linger, making it extremely dangerous. Only disciples with great wisdom, great determination, and great achievements can step into the Heaven Demon battlefield, resist the temptations of the Heaven Demons, and gradually progress to become inner sect disciples. At this moment, the spiritual energy Yen appeared in the form of a dragon and spoke. Heaven Demon is indeed a good material for pill refining. Fong Han replied, I have seen the 3 demons, heaven, earth, and human, as well as the demon of the earth, but I have never encountered the Heaven Demon before. It is said that Heaven Demon does not have a physical form, but is merely a stream of energy or thought. The spiritual energy Yen sitting next to him explained, that's right, only a highly ranked Heaven Demon can cultivate into a physical form, becoming a demon king, a demon god. Fong Han stared intently at the 3 blood pills in his hand. I don't want to be possessed by Heaven Demon and turn into something that is neither human nor ghost. This assessment will have people watching at all times and in all places. I can't rely on your power. After finishing his sentence, he tossed the blood pill into his mouth. Fong Han seriously glanced to the side. Yen, I want to rely on my own abilities to cultivate for a while, so please be quiet for now. Hearing this, he became furious and continuously flicked his tail to hit Fong Han's head. Go ahead and cultivate, aren't you just wanting to drink my blood pills? Saying this, the spiritual energy Yen angrily vanished. At this moment, Fong Han calmly sat down and executed the primordial spirit astral art. After an hour, Fong Han continued to cultivate without stopping. Then 2 hours passed, and he was still frantically cultivating. After a while, Fong Han opened his eyes wide, and the surrounding area was filled with overwhelming streams of spiritual energy emanating outward. On the other side at Yu Hua Palace, the name Jin Shirtai knelt down, earnestly pleading with the man in front of him, Father, you must take charge for me. He was filled with rage and shouted, I had an arm chopped off by that Fong Qing Shui. And Shi Long Zi, senior brother, also had his arm cut off. Hearing this, the man's expression darkened, and he snorted loudly, "Can Fong Qing Shui, with just a trivial magical talent secret realm, really chop off Shi Longzi's arm?" He stared intently at Jin Shirtai and continued, "In your state, thick with demon energy, you must have provoked Ng Tianjing, right? He was Grand Elder Yu Hua Gate, the renowned Jin Ri. He flew forward and called back, 'Follow me, I will take you to the Tianxing platform.'" A while later, at Tianxing Hall, Tianxing platform, the atmosphere around this place was extremely gloomy, causing Jin Shirtai to kneel and tremble with fear. Suddenly, a foot approached, startling Shirtai, who panicked. Two figures appeared ahead, one male and one female. Hua Tiandu stood on the left and called out towards the house in front, "Elder, among the disciples I rescued. Except for a disciple outside the sect named Lu Kong who has died, all remaining disciples have eliminated the poison Lu Yuan thunder." Saying this, he raised his hand to report, "However, all the fly swords on them have disappeared, and even my heaven chicken extreme yang rope is nowhere to be found. I come to report to the elder, one is how to punish these disciples, and two is to investigate this matter clearly to see whose hands the fly swords have ultimately fallen into." The elder inside the front room replied, "You did very well, this matter will be entrusted to you for investigation." Then, he raised his hand and shot out a token, which flew outside. In addition, punish these disciples to immortal flame for 3 months, and stop providing all pills. Hua Tiandu raised both hands to catch the token, and he added, "With the Tianxing token, you can request any direct disciple, including the elder, to cooperate with your actions." Hua Tiandu hurriedly clasped his hands together, glancing at the girl beside him. "I heard that under Fong Junior sister, there is a person named Fong Han, who possesses a supreme treasure from the demon sect given by Junior sister, and he used this treasure to absorb the spiritual peak sword. If the elder has given me full authority to investigate, then I want to mobilize the people of Fong Junior sister." Seeing Qing Shui's frowning face, he added, "Here, I will clarify things with Junior sister first to avoid any disputes later." Qing Shui crossed her arms in front of her and looked to the side. "That's right, the devil treasure I gave him is the 7 killings gourd stolen from Wang Mo Lin. Fong Han is a member of my Fong family, what's wrong with him taking a fly sword? Ng Tianjing wants to give him 7 fly swords, and he strictly refused." Saying this, she displayed an unforgiving expression. "Hua senior brother, you can investigate if you want. However, if anything happens to Fong Han, I will not let it go. I will demand justice from the sect master." At this moment, he turned his back. "I have always acted fairly, otherwise, Tianxing elder would not have given me the Tianxing token." He frowned and angrily glanced at Qing Shui. "Fong Junior sister should take care of herself." Suddenly, a knee slammed down on the ground, and Jin Shirtai, filled with indignation, knelt and shouted, "Tianxing elder, you must take responsibility for me. Fong Qing Shui, she." Hearing this, Qing Shui was startled and looked at him. The elder inside the room interrupted. Shi Longzi was determined to compete with Ng Tianjing, even though his skills were inferior to hers. Yu Hua Gate was not afraid of the Tianxian demonic sect, so I will reclaim this arm. However, this matter does not concern Fong Qing Shui, on the contrary, she even fought with the demon god at the altar of the demon god. The breakthrough in the realm brings significant contributions to us. I have sent a letter to the sect master, requesting her to enter the minor fairy realm to cultivate and break through to the 5th rank of the celestial realm." Upon hearing this, the faces of the father and son darkened, filled with anger. Then, Jin Shirtai shouted loudly, "What? Is she about to break through to the heaven-human realm?" He grimaced and called out ahead, "Tianxing Zi, this woman has an unclear relationship with the son of the demon emperor. If we let her enter our holy land for cultivation, and something unexpected happens, how will you take responsibility?" Fuming, he turned to the side and grabbed Shirtai's wrist. "I want to personally report this to the sect master, I don't want to waste time with you." After finishing his words, the father and son turned and left. A moment later, Qing Shui also entered the room. Tianxing Zi sat in the chair, staring intently downward. "Qing Shui, you don't need to think about anything. Just focus on breaking through the realm." Upon hearing this, she raised her hands in front of her, nodded slightly, and accepted the order. The scene shifts to the crowded Heavenly Void Institute, where people were buzzing with endless chatter. I heard that the Heaven Demon battlefield isn't in this world, is that true? Then doesn't that mean we have to go out into the sky? Can that even be faked? But I heard that last year 10,000 outside sect disciples lost 3,000, and several thousand went mad. The remaining ones were saved, but in the end, only 200 or 300 passed. Suddenly, a loud voice broke out, startling Fong Han, who turned around. Fong Han, is that really you? From behind, a man standing next to Qing Wei spoke up. Qing Wei, who is he? He is a servant of my Fong family. She arrogantly stared ahead. Fong Han, you have earned my sister's favor and obtained a quota for the inside sect disciple examination, which was also granted by the Fong family. Saying this, she burst into mocking laughter. But I heard that you, being petty and self-satisfied, attacked the Grand Supervisor, a despicable act. My sister is devoted to her cultivation and doesn't understand these worldly matters, but I am not so easily fooled. Then, she raised her hand in front, waving it, come here and kneel down, I have a few things I must remind you of. Hearing this, Fong Han chuckled. A moment later, he extended his hand forward, snorted, Fong Qing Wei, senior sister Qing Shui has promised to marry you to me, from now on I am your fiancé. The man was furious, excitedly throwing his sword forward, you dare to be disrespectful. Fong Han rushed in quickly, dodging the attack. Seeing this, the man frowned, utterly astonished. Immediately, Fong Han delivered a powerful punch to him, sending the man flying back several meters, landing sprawled on the ground. The others, seeing this, angrily rushed to help him up. One of them, holding a sword, shouted loudly, damn it, kill him. Qing Wei also held a sword, aiming it at Fong Han. Surrounded, Fong Han unleashed a technique that attacked in all directions, breaking the swords of the others in half, while Qing Wei's sword was also knocked far away and rolled on the ground. She was drenched in sweat, collapsing to the ground, your power is surprisingly high. How can this be? The man who had just struggled to stand up looked towards Fong Han. I am the young master of Buyi Island South Sea. May I ask who you are? Today you grant me a favor, and I will surely repay it generously in the future. Fong Han slightly curled his lips, smiling smugly, who am I? Didn't you hear just now? I am the fiancé of Fong Qing Wei. After saying this, he coldly turned his back. As for your desire for revenge in the future, feel free to come, it just depends on whether you have the capability. Let's go, Fong Qing Wei, to the Heaven Demon battlefield. I will take care of you according to your sister's instructions. Hearing this, she angrily shouted forward, I don't believe this is what my sister said. Don't dream too grandly, a toad wanting to eat swan meat. Upon hearing these words, Fong Han turned around in anger, whether to marry or not is not for you to decide. Although you are my fiancé in name, I have no interest in you. However, if you continue to be close to other men, and especially with those few immoral men here. At this point, he gritted his teeth, fuming, if I see you once, I will beat you once. With that, Fong Han walked away, leaving the group along with Qing Wei fuming with anger. A man standing at a distance spoke up, this person is named Fong Han, who has received the praise of Fong Qing Shui and has even been given a devil treasure. It seems he wants to cultivate him as a direct disciple. The competition for the Mountain River list in a few months will be a strong opponent for both you and me. The other person beside him listened with interest, is that so? I love competitions, without pressure, there is no motivation. Suddenly, his expression changed, filled with evil energy, if that's the case, let's have a little fun first. The group in front saw him and clasped their hands together, respectfully shouting, greetings, ye senior brother. One of them began to discuss, ye senior brother ranks third in the Mountain River list. Why is he appearing here? At this moment, he approached Qing Wei, that guy Fong Han said that if any man comes near you, he will fight them on sight, but I don't believe in that kind of evil sect, so I want to get closer to you. After saying this, he stepped forward and raised his hand in front of her, Qing Wei junior sister, please don't deny me this face. She looked up at the man in front of her, to be able to become friends with ye senior brother is an honor for Qing Wei. Suddenly, this person named Yi raised his hand high and then created a talisman to place in front of his chest. Junior sister, to enter the Heaven Demon battlefield, you must be extremely careful. Although this spirit talisman made of snow algae is just spiritual energy, it can resist the heaven demon, stabilize your spirit, and is enough to help you safely return from the heaven demon battlefield. At this moment, he pushed Qing Wei forward and continued, "Go ahead, once you become a disciple in the inner sect, I and the senior and junior brothers in the Mountain River list will hold a celebration for you." He raised an eyebrow, feeling pleased with himself. "Let's see what that Fong Han can do to us." The scene shifted to the entrance of the teleportation to the heaven demon battlefield, bustling with people. Fong Han approached the gate and held up the token, which emitted a glow. Suddenly, the gate began to tremble and a crack appeared. After a moment, the gate opened, revealing a completely dark screen. The man beside him spoke up, "Step inside. Staying in the heaven demon battlefield for a full 10 days and nights will allow you to come out. However, the heaven demon disrupts the spirit and is extremely dangerous, you could lose your life at any moment. If you want to withdraw now, it's still not too late." Fong Han did not hesitate at all as he bent down and walked through the dark night. "Of course, I will not back down," he said, stepping forward. At that moment, a streak of light appeared from afar. As Fong Han walked past, he found himself in an unfamiliar land. He stared blankly and said to himself, "Is this the battlefield of heaven demon?" Suddenly, spiritual energy Yen manifested on his shoulder, interrupting him. "This is the outer domain sky void. The heaven demons in this place love flesh and blood that carries yang energy. If you appear here, it won't be long before many heaven demons come." Saying that, he smirked with delight. "At that time, we can catch them to refine pills. It will be a big profit." Fong Han looked around in confusion. "So where do we go now? I don't see any other outside sect disciples." At that moment, a strange noise came from afar, startling Fong Han as he turned his head. From behind, Qing Wei was running toward him in distress. "Fong Han, save me. The heaven demons are chasing me. I will marry you, I agree to marry you. Hurry and save me." Hearing this, Fong Han stood still, looking back, and saw that there was nothing chasing her. Suddenly, Qing Wei's face tore apart, transforming into a strange shape. Then, it charged aggressively forward. "Fool, she is not Fong Qing Wei, she is the heaven demon." Fong Han, undaunted, raised his hand and punched heaven demon straight in the face. Then, the heaven demon was punched through and dissipated. Immediately, it spun around in the air. "I am invisible, no matter how you try to kill me, you can't. The family can never die. Fong Han, you are truly powerful, your flesh and blood must be incredibly delicious. Eating you will allow me to transform into the Demon King." Saying this, it crazily spun around, generating electric sparks. Fong Han glanced up and thought to himself, "Why does the heaven demon know my name? Has my spirit been exposed?" At this moment, the heaven demon descended, unleashing a barrage of swords. Fong Han slightly curled his lips and chuckled. "The heaven demon is still the heaven demon, enchanting people's hearts only has one form. Should I consider this rain of swords to be real?" Finishing his words, Fong Han took a stance, raising his hand forward, continuously launching counterattacks. First star annihilates the earth demon, second star battles the mysterious mechanism. Following that, he swung his right hand up, unleashing the 3-star pure yang and the 4-star sky battle. Then, clenching his fists, he used the 5-star linked pearl technique and the 6-star chaos. Not stopping at the 6th move, Fong Han continued with the 7th star movement of heaven and earth. Immediately, he brought his palms together in front of him, leaped high, aiming at the black hole of heaven demon. Then, he clenched his fist to the side, executing the powerful technique of 7 stars fist, advancing deep into the heaven demon. A mighty punch shattered the heaven demon, leaving only the sounds of frantic screams. Fong Han landed on the ground, looking at everything in front of him. "Is it dead now? I can't see its physical form. How can I refine the blue sky pill?" Suddenly, a shy Qing Shui appeared before Fong Han. She continuously clung to Fong Han, playfully saying, "Give me your body, I know you have feelings for me." Qing Shui blushed, breathing heavily into Fong Han's ear. "I need your body now. If you don't give it to me, I will die. Will you pay the price for me?" At this moment, Fong Han was furious, unleashing the primordial spirit technique. "Heaven demon, you are seeking death." Instantly, the phantom of the Yellow Springs Great Emperor appeared. Next, a large hand struck down on the heaven demon, causing it to scream in terror. This is the demon emperor's essence. Why does your spirit carry the aura of the human demon emperor? Immediately, a bright explosion occurred, incinerating the heaven demon. Fong Han retracted his move, and the ground around him cracked into large pieces. At this moment, spiritual energy Yen burst into laughter. Haha, that's right, my true self was just about to lend you a hand, but I didn't expect you to have obliterated the illusory aura of the Yellow Springs Great Emperor. Saying this, Yen Oldman's body produced a blood pill. Fong Han reached out to catch it, so small, it's only the size of a damn seed. Much worse than those other blood pills. He turned to spiritual energy Yen beside him and continued, I see that in various worlds, refining pills is not an easy task, even Yu Hua Gate has many situations where pills fail to refine. You refine pills too easily, you know. Hearing this, he became enraged, smoke billowing from him. The Yellow Springs map is a gigantic pill refining furnace, much stronger than the Tao artifact alchemical furnace of Yu Hua Gate. Back then, the Yellow Springs Great Emperor used this Yellow Springs map to provide pills for hundreds of thousands of disciples in the sect. Hearing this, Fong Han furrowed his brows in confusion. The Yellow Springs sect has 100,000 disciples. Isn't that even larger than the Yu Hua Gate? Spiritual energy Yen began to explain. Of course, back then the Yellow Springs sect was the #1 sect, opening a place called the Netherworld. The subordinates of the Yellow Springs Great Emperor were 10 disciples who held the power of life and death. In fact, the Yellow Springs Great Emperor even considered establishing the path of reincarnation, aiming to control the fate of all beings in the universe, binding their spiritual marks based on good and evil for reincarnation in different lives. The virtuous would receive good fortune, while the wicked would suffer punishment throughout their lives. Because of this, he encountered the jealousy of heaven and ultimately perished. At this moment, Fong Han's eyes widened in bewilderment. Establishing the path of reincarnation, what a monumental undertaking that is. Then he lowered his head, recalling past memories of death. Indeed, killing and arson, hoarding wealth. Building bridges and repairing roads only to die in pieces. There is no justice in this world. Suddenly, spiritual energy Yen roared fiercely. Everyone says we are demons, yet everything we do is righteous and honorable, with the sun and moon as witnesses. The founding of reincarnation is all for the sake of having 2 words, retribution, in heaven and earth. At this point, his eyes were already misty with tears. To reach the pinnacle of brightness, one must resort to dark methods. The Yellow Springs Great Emperor once wavered over this matter, but ultimately made a decision. He said that without great collapse, there can be no great order, however, he failed. To reach the pinnacle of brightness, one must resort to dark methods. Could this perhaps be the reason for the Yellow Springs Great Emperor's failure? Justice created through dark methods, then what is justice? If one is evil, why force others to do good? Hearing this, Fong Han looked seriously ahead. Let me fulfill the Yellow Springs Great Emperor's idea. Indeed, there are 2 words, retribution, in heaven and earth. I will not commit mass slaughter, but will use the proper methods to establish good and evil in the world. Upon hearing this, spiritual energy Yan's eyes widened in shock. Your spirit has become pure. With a heart like that, even without the 9 apertures golden elixir, sooner or later you will step into the magical talent's secret realm. At most in 3 years, at least in 1 year, you will definitely be able to cultivate into magical talent. Such progress is truly terrifying. Fong Han held the blood pill in his hand and replied, I thought it would take a few more years. Enough talk, let's focus on cultivation. Saying that, Fong Han gently closed his eyes, calmly folded his knees together, and began to cultivate. At the same time, in another place, a man sat on a high cliff, surrounded by a dense group of heaven demons. The red-haired man glanced at the heaven demons and exclaimed, the disciples of Yu Hua Gate have entered this place to cultivate. Turning this place into a training ground, causing us heaven demons to gather here more and more. Isn't this an opportunity for us to obtain more flesh and blood? I fear that sect master Yu Hua Gate did not expect that the 9 young demon gods sensed them and brought me here. This time, I want to wipe out all the disciples of Yu Hua Gate. With that, he stood up, raised his hand in front of him, when you stop them, they will learn the military tactics of humans. When faced with an expert, don't act like wasps, and do not act alone. If you encounter anyone difficult to deal with, let me handle it directly. The heaven demons, upon hearing this, communicated with each other to receive his orders. Then, that guy shot up high and disappeared. After that, the group of heaven demons also flew away to execute their plan. A moment later, Fong Han had completed his cultivation and was on his way forward. Suddenly, a strange figure appeared ahead. Fong Han quickly stomped his foot on the ground and jumped up high. Strange, why is there wind ahead? The airflow is very strong. At that moment, spiritual energy Yen anxiously spoke up, that is not a whirlwind but a group of heaven demons forming together. Logically, there shouldn't be so many heaven demons in the heaven demon battlefield, otherwise, the inside sect disciples participating in the assessment would definitely die. Hearing this, Fong Han immediately concealed himself. The heaven demons had also noticed and shouted loudly, "There is someone, there is flesh and blood, the scent is truly powerful. Let's work together to drain him dry and wear his skin to entice others." Being discovered by them, Fong Han revealed himself. At that moment, the heaven demons created naked girls to surround Fong Han. "Gidge, we are very lonely, come comfort us." Fong Han gritted his teeth in anger, "Do you want to disturb my spirit? In your dreams." Then, he closed his eyes and raised his right hand high. Then, he threw a direct punch into the skeletal chest. Next was the technique of heaven and earth spiritual energy, sun and moon spirit, breaking through the encirclement of the heaven demons. At this moment, Fong Han spread his arms horizontally at shoulder level, thinking to himself, indeed a cunning scheme, they must be enchanted by the heaven demons, and will surely be drained of their marrow and brain. Now, Fong Han used the 7 killings gourd, releasing the 7 kills heavenly wolf smoke. What a trick of deception, attacking from the east while striking from the west. In an instant, the 7 kills heavenly wolf smoke circled behind the group of heaven demons. Spiritual energy Yen happily raised her fist, quick, turn them into blue sky pills. Fong Han raised one hand in front of him, while the other swung down sharply in a slicing motion. The yellow springs map inside him began to absorb the heaven demons. But suddenly, the heaven demons were dispersed forward, leaving Fong Han in shock for a long time. He looked at the source of the magical power ahead in confusion. Could it be the cunning plan of the heaven demons? At that moment, spiritual energy Yen also spoke up, "No, those disciples have the essence of blood and flesh, especially within the flute and zither, which contain magical power, a magic weapon using sound to counter the heaven demons." On this side, the girl played the flute, and the group began to speak up. "You this time we are afraid it will be difficult. Whether the sect will come to our rescue is still a mystery, but we cannot hold out much longer." The girl with the guqin responded, "You do not speak such unfortunate words. When dealing with heaven demons, once we lose faith, everything will be over. Sisters, take turns playing the flute to use sound waves to hinder the demons. Yun Shui Di can body refine aura and merge spirit into the sound of the flute." Saying this, she plucked the strings of the guqin. The sounds from their magic weapons surged forth, forming a barrier. But soon after, a heaven demon pierced through their defenses. "Haha, these are all pure vowels without impurities. Keep screaming, use you to strengthen our power." Yu looked up in panic as the barrier shattered. Instantly, their magic weapons were crushed by the heaven demon. Yet the girls were also absorbed into them. At this moment, Fong Han approached, looking at the chaos before him. "The situation is perilous, but we cannot hold back any longer." Then, 7 kills heavenly wolf fiercely charged in to tear apart the heaven demons. It crawled inside, surrounding the girls to protect them from danger. One girl in the crowd glanced outside, sweat dripping from her forehead. What now? Now, Fong Han gently appeared before them. He was clad in heavenly wolf armor. The girl Yu looked ahead, panic-stricken, and asked, "Who are you?" Fong Han approached them to reassure, "Please do not panic, I am a disciple of Yu Hua Gate here for a trial, Fong Han." He glanced at the heaven demons over there and continued, "I possess a devil treasure, which allows me to subdue the heaven demons. This time, as the battlefield faces turmoil, let us unite and overcome this calamity together." The girls were overjoyed to meet their savior, tears streaming down their faces. The life-saving grace of Fong's senior brother today, even if we were to be crushed to pieces, would be hard to repay. Above them, 7 kills heavenly wolf smoke billowed, protecting Fong Han's group. Fong Han waved his hand, and the heavenly wolf armor dissipated. Seeing Fong Han's fighting demeanor, Yu thought to herself, what a handsome and dashing man. Then she stared intently at the opponent, Fong Han's senior brother. Is this magic weapon of yours the 7 kills heavenly wolf smoke? I heard it is contained in the 7 killings gourd, a treasure of the demon god sect. How did it end up in your hands? Fong Han replied without hesitation, it was taken by senior sister Qing Shui from the altar of the demon god for my protection, but I haven't cultivated to the magical talent's secret realm yet, so this heavenly wolf hasn't unleashed its full power. At that moment, he suddenly realized and turned to ask them, by the way, I haven't asked for your names yet, senior sisters and junior sisters. Yu raised her hand to introduce herself, I am Xiang Yu and this is Yi Yu. You can call us Yu and Yu Fong's senior brother. There's also Zi Xian, Ai Wei, Yan Xiao Yu, Yan Xiao Jing, and Lin Feng Shi, Nan Bei Bei. We are all members of the Jiaolan Association. Fong Han tilted his head in confusion and looked at them, what is the Jiaolan Association? The Jiaolan Association is a small organization formed by us female disciples in the sect to protect ourselves from being bullied by other disciples and to cultivate together, helping each other to improve our strength. You may not know, but Yu Hua Gate has nearly 400 outside sect disciples and 5,000 inside sect disciples. There are many organizations like that. Upon hearing this, Fong Han raised his hand to his chin, pondering. The disciples of Yu Hua Gate are numerous and mixed, where there are benefits, there will be disputes over power, especially on the path to pursuing strength. Yu stepped forward, interrupting his thoughts. This time, Fong's senior brother saved our lives. We will report to the Grand Senior Sister of the Jiaolan Association. In the future, if senior brother encounters any trouble, we will not refuse, even if we fall into boiling water, and we pledge to help with all our strength. Hearing this, Fong Han curiously thought to himself. Grand Senior Sister. Could it be a certain true disciple? Just then, the ground suddenly shook violently, causing them to scream loudly. Outside, the heaven demons formed a massive whirlwind, striking directly at the 7 kills heavenly wolf smoke shield. Fong Han gritted his teeth, looking around at the situation. Their group panicked, gripping their magic weapons tightly. Yu was about to unleash a technique, but was immediately stopped by Fong Han, who raised his hand. Don't play the music for now, or else this heavenly wolf spell will quickly be broken, causing us to be injured. Magic weapons of spiritual energy level do not have their own consciousness and cannot distinguish between friend and foe. I will count from 1 to 3, recalling the heavenly wolf. Then we won't go out to kill the heaven demons. By then, you should use the power of the flute to protect yourselves. After saying that, he focused his gaze ahead. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3, retract. Instantly, the heavenly wolf yen was pulled back in. The heaven demons continued to pierce downwards. Right now, Fong Han donned the heavenly wolf armor, soaring high up, then struck directly with a powerful blow at the heaven demons in front. However, the armor on Fong Han had been pierced with a hole. The heaven demons transformed into a gigantic fist, use all your strength to kill this little guy. Fong Han angrily looked up at them and shouted, then I will turn all of you into blue sky pills. Immediately, spiritual energy yen hurriedly spoke, don't waste your energy anymore. Let me teach you the heavenly dragon 8 tones to resonate with their minds. Now, you should inhale deeply, then contract your abdomen, move the aura, envelop Dan Tian, move to your spine, and condense it into spirit. The 8 dragons transform, and the syllables regenerate. In an instant, fierce dragons appeared, surrounding Fong Han. Fong Han donned the heavenly wolf armor, accompanied by the roar of 8 dragons. Soon after, he fell victim to a downward attack from above. The women, hearing the roar, staggered and cried out, why is there such a sharp sound? My head hurts so much, it feels like it's about to be torn apart. At that moment, Yu anxiously turned to her sisters and shouted, quick, cover your ears. Right above them, the heaven demons continued to convulse, exploding with a loud bang. The sounds kept coming, attacking the heaven demons. Fong Han tiredly raised his hand to hold his head and muttered, why is the heavenly dragon 8 tones consuming so much energy? With my current physical condition, it shouldn't be like this. Spiritual energy yen appeared behind him, explaining, the Heavenly Dragon 8 Tones is originally a technique of the divine sect that unleashes latent power, stimulating the greatest explosive force. This is also because you have previously used the 9 Apertures Golden Elixir. With that, he irritably placed his hands on his hips and snorted. If it were someone else, they would immediately lose all their strength, and it would be normal to stay in bed for 10 days to half a month without getting up. Quickly use your remaining strength to capture these heaven demons. Upon hearing this, Fong Han lowered his head and clenched his jaw tightly. Then, Fong Han raised both hands to his shoulders, unleashing a bit of remaining strength, and surged forward. The heaven demons above were successively caught by Fong Han into the net. Fong Han held the 7 Killings gourd in his hand, sucking the heaven demons into it. After that, he created a heavenly wolf shield to obscure the view and thought to himself, using the Yellow Springs map to refine the heaven demons, I can't let the disciples of the Jia Lan Association see this, to avoid raising their suspicions. After a while, when he was done, Fong Han extended his hand and waved away the shield. He stored the Yellow Springs map away, feeling tired as he moved forward. Yen, I need to rest a bit. The group from the Jia Lan Association behind watched Fong Han's figure and discussed, senior brother Fong Han can actually kill hundreds of heaven demons. That's right, even among the top 3 on the Mountain River list, no senior brother or senior sister has such abilities. Hearing this, he sat down on a nearby rock. I also rely on the power of the 7 Killings gourd. Saying this, he closed his eyes to begin the process of recovering his strength. If I hadn't said anything, we would have been torn apart by the heaven demons by now. Yu curiously raised her hand to her mouth, looking ahead. That's right, what sect is the skill that senior brother just demonstrated? It's really domineering. I once heard Long's senior sister perform the heroic song of our Yu Hua Gate, but it seems this is not from our Yu Hua Gate. Hearing this, Fong Han slowly opened his mouth to reply, this was taught to me by a strange person before I joined Yu Hua Gate, and I don't know how to explain it. He didn't tell me the name. This is a little secret of mine, and I hope the junior sisters and senior sisters won't expose it. After hearing this, everyone nodded in agreement. Then Yu spoke up, of course, Fong's senior brother saved our lives, with such a great kindness, how could we expose Fong's senior brother's secret? Yu standing beside her, firmly slapped her hand on her chest and interjected, that's right, if Grand Senior Sister Jia Lan knew, she wouldn't forgive my friend. Upon hearing this, Fong Han suddenly opened his eyes wide, puzzled, and glanced at the girls, who is Grand Senior Sister Jia Lan? Hearing Fong Han's question, Yu stepped forward and replied, does Fong's senior brother not know? East Ling Shao, West Jiao Lan, North Jiao Guang, South Wan Luo. Zhong Tian Du, this is the year of the 5 disciples who roam the world, possessing powerful abilities among the true disciples of our Yu Hua Gate. Our grand senior sister Jia Lan of the Jia Lan Association resides at Jia Lan Peak in the west, hence she is referred to as Shi Jia Lan. Fong Han was astonished, furrowing his brows and thinking to himself, these 5 seem to have a status and power even higher than Fong Qing Shui. Then, he raised his hand to his head, glancing away, pondering, but based on her rate of progress, she might soon be on par with these 5. And what about Ng Tianjing? How does she compare to these 5? I'm afraid they are of the same level. After thinking for a while, Fong Han jumped down from the rock. He raised his right hand to his waist, exuding the power he had regained. The heaven demons on the battlefield have suddenly increased. If we are in such danger, then the other disciples must be facing even greater peril. As members of Yu Hua Gate, we should save whoever we can. Let's go look for the other Yu Hua Gate disciples. The girls, hearing this, were delighted, and they shouted in unison, all right, let's go. Fong Han turned his head to the side, asking quietly, Yen, how many heaven demons did we catch earlier? Is there still enough pill? A total of 413 creatures along with 5 heaven demons and 520 pills have been refined. Saying this, he frowned and raised 2 fingers, 10 yaksa, each requires more than 30 pills to evolve into Azura. That means you have less than 200 pills left, and you need a bit more to be sufficient. Fong Han outside smirked and chuckled. Then, he lifted his foot and ran forward, leading the Jialan group. Immediately, the whole group soared into the sky, propelled by Fong Han's strength. Fong Han and his companions had been flying for a while towards the large rocks. Suddenly, Fong Han's expression turned serious, and he spoke, "The demon energy ahead is very heavy, we should be careful, as I fear many heaven demons are gathered there." Yu beside him squinted and looked ahead. "I can also sense the dense demon energy." A moment later, Yu suddenly shouted in panic, "Look, look, it's the disciples of Yu Hua Gate." Right in front of them, a gigantic golden pagoda suddenly appeared, surrounded by a swarm of heaven demons. The Jiaolan Association members looked up and shouted. The Nine Palaces Golden Pagoda is the protective treasure of Tiandu Peak. The disciples of Yu Hua Gate over there must have received reinforcements. The spiritual energy Yen slowly emerged from Fong Han's pocket to listen in, but suddenly he was struck hard by Fong Han's hand. At that moment, he exclaimed in panic, "The pure royal treasure Nine Palaces Golden Pagoda is even purer than the Heaven Chicken Extreme Yang Rope. If the main deity devours it, it could restore to the heaven human realm, which could help you refine spiritual energy." At this point, spiritual energy Yen expressed his thoughts. Yu Hua Gate has already sent someone for reinforcements. If you don't want to be captured and have your tendons pulled and skin stripped, don't set your sights on it. Hearing this, Fong Han focused his gaze ahead. "Let's quickly enter the protective barrier of the Golden Pagoda, that way everyone will be even safer." A girl from the Jiaolan Association pointed ahead. "That's right, it said that the Nine Palaces Golden Pagoda was personally bestowed by the Supreme Sect Master to the top disciple. Senior Brother Hua has clearly also arrived. Let's go in, we must be extremely careful." As soon as she finished speaking, a large whirlwind suddenly appeared above, striking directly down at Fong Han and the others, but he raised his hand to block it. At that moment, a terrifying voice emerged, causing Fong Han to startle and turn his head back. The Demon King with fiery red eyes appeared. "You don't need to go anywhere else. I am the great Demon King, the Demon King. You have killed over 500 of my subordinates, a crime deserving of death." The group of Fong Han looked up in shock. Fong Han stared intently ahead, then extended his right hand behind him to cast a spell. Next, he struck his hand upward, unleashing the heavenly dragon 8 tones towards him. Taking the opportunity, Fong Han quickly turned around, shouting, "The opponent is too strong, you all hurry and run. Take this chance to enter the protective circle of the Golden Pagoda." At this moment, although the Demon King was hit, he quickly recovered to his original state. He raised both hands in front of him, drawing in the heaven demons. Then, the Demon King rushed forward, shouting fiercely, "The sound waves are very powerful, but you are seeking death." Fong Han was startled and quickly glanced back, continuously emitting sound waves to protect the members of the Jiaolan Association. Yu were extremely worried and shouted, "Fong Senior Brother." Just then, a source of ancient cold power suddenly appeared. Fong Han frowned, astonished as he looked up. Powerful gusts of wind appeared from behind, blowing past Fong Han and then soaring ahead, freezing the enormous heaven demons above. The arms of the Demon King were also frozen, causing him to panic and look forward. Immediately, the Demon King was completely frozen by the heaven-cold profound serene force, leaving him unable to resist. Fong Han's eyes widened in shock as he looked ahead. Spiritual energy Yen hurriedly exclaimed, "All 3,000 demon leaders are completely frozen, now I must use the great silence technique to hide completely, or I will be discovered." Fong Han bit his lip and looked in another direction, thinking, "It's what Tiandu his heaven-cold profound serene force is even more formidable than in Tianjing's." At this moment, a group of people appeared in the sky above. The surrounding mist gradually dissipated, revealing Hua Tiandu's figure. The people below looked up, continuously shouting, "It's Grand Senior Brother. One move of snow fills the universe, even the Demon King cannot withstand it." It is said that Grand Senior Brother has killed 10,000 heaven demons, and these last 3,000 demon leaders along with the Demon King. At this point, they all shouted in unison. "Greetings to Senior Brother Hua, greetings to all Senior Brothers and Senior Sisters." Hua Tiandu, upon hearing this, opened his mouth and spoke, "You Junior Brothers and Junior Sisters are being too polite." Then he looked down and added, "All 9 of you control the Golden Pagoda, protecting the disciples who have made contributions." After that, he raised his hand and dropped some pills down. "I grant each of you a life extension pill, which will help increase your lifespan." A man standing behind him saw this and smiled broadly, "What a great gift. Senior Brother Hua is very generous." Everyone knows how much spiritual energy and law it takes to make a life extension pill. Tiandu Peak is indeed wealthy. The 9 people on the ground immediately knelt down, bowed their heads to the ground, and shouted loudly, "Thank you, Grand Senior Brother." Hua Tiandu interrupted them, saying, "I am merely a bit stronger in law. If you refine a few more pills, it can be useful when needed. This assessment of yours was disrupted by the Heaven Demon, but the Heaven Demon has been eradicated." At this point, he glared down at them, "All of you have passed and will become inner sect disciples." Upon hearing this, they all rejoiced and burst into laughter. So good already. However, upon hearing this, Fong Han was not happy, thinking to himself, "Without the assessment, how can I refine pills with the Heaven Demon?" At this moment, Hua Tiandu frowned and glanced at Fong Han. "But you don't need to hurry to leave, I still have some matters to investigate clearly." Fong Han was startled when he heard him mention his name, feeling confused, and thought, "Why is Hua Tiandu mentioning me? Could it be?" Thinking this, he placed his hands together in front of his chest, respectfully saying, "Yes, Grand Senior Brother, do you have any guidance?" He exuded a strong evil energy, staring intently at Fong Han. "The devil treasure on you called the 7 Killings Gourd, is it?" In response to the surprised gazes of everyone, Fong Han replied, "Yes, this was given to me by senior sister Qing Shui." Hearing this, he glared down angrily. Moments later, he stepped closer to Fong Han, lowering his voice, "You have quite the nerve, using a devil treasure is one thing. Not only did you not kill the demon leader, but you also went against the disciples of Yu Hua Gate. Do you think you can act recklessly just because of Fong Junior sister's reputation?" Fong Han looked up without any fear. "Hua, Senior Brother, Fong Han doesn't know where he acted on his own." Saying this, he frowned, calming himself inside. Fong Han stands firm, even if the person in front is strong, he cannot lose his dignity to regain it. Suddenly, a guy hurriedly interrupted, "He used a devil treasure to suck away my spiritual peak sword." The guy in front pointed directly at Fong Han. "On that day, he fought with Bao Imperial Prince, and I found it truly unreasonable, so I stepped in to stop it. The result was..." At this point, he was furious, his face darkening. He harmed Mo Senior Sister. When he killed Hongfen Prince, he didn't set up the 6 Desires sword formation. He is a spy of the demon sect. Hearing this, Fong Han gritted his teeth, lowering his head. "Indeed, I was ambushed by a petty person. Even if I had a mouth, I couldn't speak." Yet he raised his head to look ahead and continued, "On that day, you used a fly sword to try to sever my tendons. The fly sword flew towards me and triggered the strength of the devil treasure, which is why it got sucked away." He crossed his arms in front of him, snorting, "Who is right and who is wrong, I hope Grand Senior Brother will consider." Hua Tiandu raised his hand and spoke up, "Fong Han, There are still a few matters related to Fong Junior Sister concerning you. I will investigate everything clearly, but right now she is in a state of seclusion, so I won't disturb her." Upon saying this, he frowned in anger, "A small disciple like you flaunting your strength everywhere, ruining the reputation of Yu Hua Gate. I even had to forcibly take the fly sword from an inside sect disciple. How can Yu Hua Gate face the forward sect?" Fong Han, feeling frustrated, crossed his arms over his chest. "A 7 Killings Gourd has already implicated the reputation of Yu Hua Gate. Grand Senior Brother is clearly biased. I am a disciple of Purple Lightning Peak, and if you want to investigate, you should wait until Fong Senior Sister appears before discussing it." Fong Han paused for a moment, deep in thought. This Hua Tiandu actually dragged these matters into the reputation of Yu Hua Gate. If I don't refute this, the hat on my head will only grow larger. What does he want with this magic weapon? Or is he using this opportunity to punish me and Fong Qing Shui? At this moment, the people around them showed clear signs of fear, whispering among themselves. A man standing next to Hua Tiandu shouted angrily, "You have the audacity, what kind of dog are you to dare to argue with Hua Senior Brother?" He angrily raised his hand to stop the man. "You want to use Qing Shui Junior Sister to suppress me? But with your status, I can't be bothered to argue with you, and I'm too lazy to investigate further. Just put down the 7 Killings Gourd and go back to focus on your cultivation." Saying that, he adopted a mocking tone. "No more showing off your power. I think you should cultivate your character a bit, have some demeanor of an immortal Tao disciple. Otherwise, neither a celestial nor a demon will emerge from you, and it will only make others laugh at Yu Hua Gate as a bunch of clowns. Fong Han glared angrily ahead. What are you talking about? The man angrily pointed ahead, blocking the way. I told you to put down the devil treasure and get back to your cultivation. Are you deaf? Fong Han resolutely held tight to the 7 killings gourd. This devil treasure was given by Qing Shue's senior sister. If you want it back, you can only hand it over to her. Hua's senior brother has countless magic weapons and wouldn't covet such a trivial treasure, right? After saying that, he thought to himself, give in. No way, I'd rather die than hand it over, otherwise, it's no different from being a slave. Fong Han stared fiercely at them, making Hua Tiandu's face darken with frustration. Do you desire my magical weapon? He went mad, unleashing a powerful force forward. Then let me tell you, I am entrusted by Elder Tian Xing to rectify the Yu Hua Gate. Fong Qing Shui is colluding with the demon sorcerer, and you, dog, rely on your master. Saying this, he performed the snow full sky move, striking Fong Han. Next, he raised his left hand, creating a chilling aura. Do you think I am only here to rectify you? From today onward, I will rectify everyone in the Yu Hua Gate. You repeat this many times, and Fong Qing Shui thinks I will be wary of her. I, Hua Tiandu, have been cultivating for 3 years, and I don't know how many demons I have slain. For the Yu Hua Gate, even the demon emperor, I will draw my sword to kill. With that, he unleashed a move that immobilized Fong Han. The boy grimaced, grinding his teeth tightly, then used the 7 killings gourd to release the heavenly wolf. In an instant, Fong Han donned the heavenly wolf armor and charged forward. Hua Tiandu stood there, spreading his arms wide. Then, a gigantic hand shot out like a rocket and slammed down onto Fong Han, causing a tremor in the ground, leaving Fong Han motionless, his body frozen. However, Hua Tiandu also retrieved the 7 killings gourd from him. He raised his hands in front and removed something from the 7 killings gourd. Immediately, Fong Han felt dizzy, his vision blurred, sweat pouring down, and he collapsed to the ground, completely motionless, thinking to himself, my blood essence spirit has been entirely eliminated by Hua Tiandu. A moment later, Hua Tiandu approached Fong Han, who lay there. His body trembled, unable to move, and he spoke, the 7 killings gourd has never belonged to you. Fong Han struggled to move his hand and managed to force a smile, gritting his teeth. Then, Fong Han's eyes blazed with intense determination as he thought, that's right, I thought I had regained the dignity I had lost. I want to follow the Yellow Spring's great emperor to establish a cycle so that the world has justice and retribution. However, right now, I can't even maintain my own dignity, let alone this. He mustered the strength to stomp his foot on the ground, then shakily lifted his body little by little. He pondered, no matter what, I must have powerful strength, with strength comes dignity, and with dignity, I can talk about ideals. Fong Han angrily clawed at the ground, screaming inside, I want to have strength. That junior brother was startled and looked ahead. Moments later, he turned sharply around, pointing at Fong Han, grand senior brother, this demon sect spy dares to act recklessly, surely he has no good intentions. He must be punished severely, his martial arts must be crippled, to deter the inner and outer sect disciples and to restore order at Yu Hua Gate. Hearing this, Hua Tiandu frowned, pondering for a moment. Then, he spoke softly, although his talent is mediocre, crippling his martial arts is ultimately not very humane. Saying this, he raised his hand, smiling with delight, what you say does make sense. If we consider the bigger picture. Suddenly, at that moment, another source of spiritual power appeared in the sky, interrupting him with a voice, Hua's senior brother has received orders to restore order at Yu Hua Gate, but there's no need to make a big deal out of a mere small disciple, right? May I ask you for a favor? The crowd below looked up, shouting loudly, it's Jiaolan's senior sister. At this moment, a beautiful girl appeared amidst the lotus flowers, speaking, Fong Han saved the lives of Yu Er and the others, Jiaolan and I owe him a favor. After saying this, she descended to the ground. I wonder if senior brother Hua could spare him this once. This girl is she Jiaolan, the grand senior sister Jiaolan. She stepped lightly in front of Hua Tiandu and continued, with senior brother's prowess, there's no need to be overly concerned about a little junior disciple. Upon hearing this, he withdrew his force and replied, if junior sister Jiaolan has mentioned feelings, then I will spare him this time. After saying that, he turned and struck Fong Han. If I find out that you dare to use a devil treasure to tarnish the reputation of our sect again, I will absolutely not spare you. At this moment, Fong Han lay on the ground, having been hit by him and sent flying far away, then he slammed hard onto the ground, motionless. At this time, Shi Jialan spoke up, you heir, take him to Jialan Peak, I have something to say to him later. The two rushed over and supported Fong Han's trembling body. Fong Han, with his eyes dark and filled with resentment, spoke, wait, I have something to say to Senior Brother Hua. He angrily stomped his foot on the ground and continued, Senior Brother Hua, today you took my magic weapon and destroyed my dignity. I admit defeat because you are stronger than me. I wonder if you could give me 10 years' time.